iteration of an e-management that kind of correlates with what it is what they were trying to build. And if I am ultimately, like with my researchers, able to prove that, the loop closes twice. What's going to happen then, when and if I'm able to prove that, is that it's going to completely subvert any notion that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were no longer in contact after 2004. I'll tell you that. And that would be two loops closed. And I'm working on it. Like I said, we'll see what happens there. And like I said, from the top of this live, smoking guns are relative. It's kind of up to you, depending on like this observable trail, how bad you think this is, right? But I think it's a little bit more observable than a birthday card or a pull quote from 2003 from a Vanity Fair article with with Donald Trump saying, "I know him well. I heard he likes him young." My jaw was on the floor at every turn of this entire investigation. Every person that I kind of made these reveals to, it isn't necessarily that like any of this even really amounts to a crime outside of a potential campaign finance violation, but I'm not a lawyer. That's outside of my wheelhouse. It's not illegal, I guess, to own like an alleged high-end escort service. It's not illegal to be interested in representing OnlyFans models, but it's probably illegal to pay for it with campaign funds if anybody
And
were to ever. Oh,
yeah, no,
go ahead.
Tapley, wasn't there some connection with that and Stormy Daniels?
Oh, well, only in the sense. Oh, sorry, one second. Yes. Okay, so only. Sorry about that. So only. Can we turn up the lights here? This is a little creepy for me. All right, thank you. Now, so only in the sense like if I actually make that connection and it looks like on some level that like if I can prove that Trump for President LLC was actually like is attached to the Darren Endike filing of e-management from 2006. And if you're able to prove like on some level that like that LLC, any monies from that LLC like went to this e-management and they're the same one, I only spoke of Stormy Daniels in terms of like it could basically be that result. We already have an established precedent of Donald Trump using campaign funds for sex workers. So that's really the only context or the only connection to Stormy Daniels. It's just a theoretical one, right? Or like a cooperative one, if you will. But there's no like direct connection that I've seen to like Stormy Daniels with this story, if that's what you're asking.
No, I thought you had just said something about a payment from that account to Stormy Daniels, but I could have
No, what I
totally
was saying
misheard
is
you.
the whole Stormy Daniels, like the crime in Stormy Daniels was not cheating on his wife. It was not exposing his mushroom dick while watching Shark Week. It was that he paid her off into silence via an NDA while using campaign contributions, which is illegal.
Okay, got you. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that I'm tracking everything correctly here. Okay, so David Marmon is the person who applied for Trump for President LLC or was running it. Is that correct? Or
Yeah,
am
he's
I?
the lawyer. He's like the filing lawyer and essentially the executor. The same thing that Darren Endike is or was sort of to like Epstein, if you will.
Okay. And he also was running this Penrose.
Correct.
Okay.
And it appears as if, sort of, at least in terms of the filing goes, right? Like incorporating in New Mexico, it would obviously be senior since he runs that like 501c3 like website, right? Like that's literally his expertise. The old man, he's Harvard, Stanford educated, graduated from USC. That's his business. His son is the recruiter. He's the ladies' man. He's the one that actually officiates deals and finds the models, sends them over
Okay.
to the company, connects them with clients,
Okay. So the father was the
and
lawyer.
boosts their brands.
So um, can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay. So the father was the lawyer, and the son was the one running Penrose. Is that
correct,
correct? Okay.
correct.
the letter that we see with the impossible object on it, this is
Yes,
from Donald Trump to George Heraney.
correct. Husband
Okay.
of the first person to ever sue Donald Trump for sexual assault, Jill Harth.
Okay. Now, like that letterhead, Trump chose to use that image. Is that
That was his official insignia. I have multiple letters of him doing that or using
okay?
it.
Um, and then, so the impossible object is it's the same name or essentially the same thing. The Penrose thing it connects to David Harmon, and then the letter was sent to George, but it's
David
something that he
Marmon.
uses often.
It's
David
something
Marmon.
he used often. He
Okay.
abandoned it like by the turn of the century. It's no
Okay.
longer his insignia.
So in so David Marmon
Hmm.
applies for the patents. They're
Hmm.
abandoned in March of 2015.
Yes.
So very clearly he's connected with Trump. So is the direct connection here that Trump knows about Penrose and use it? Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
So the thing to focus on here is that you cannot detach this management entity, right? Which is obviously a shell company, right? That pushes you over to a service that basically works with OnlyFans creators, right? And it's up to you whether or not you think it's actually like an escort service. But if you actually just go and look at the Instagram page, it's pretty clear. And again, the nebulous phrasing, like on all of these sites, is very, very typical of exactly how these services work, even before the beginning of the internet. Just as a quick example to you. So I'll do this very quickly. Something that a lot of people do not understand is that, or don't remember, I guess, is that in 1996, there was a woman named Shannon Marketic, who was a former Miss California, who then competed in Miss Universe in 92 and 93. Another woman named Brandy Sherwood, and another woman from the UK named Paula Bradbury. They were pageant queens and they were models. In this era, multiple or all of these women's agencies got calls from this weird nebulous talent agency called Caliber with a K. And they said to them, listen, we have pre-screened your client, Shannon Marketic, Brandy Sherwood, etc. If you sign an NDA, we're going to reveal who our client is. And our client has pre-screened your models and they're interested in them. And what we want to do is we want to pay you or pay your model $3,000 a day for spokes modeling and promotional services. They're entitled to keep any jewelry or gifts that they might receive from the client while they're there. No sex required. They're put on an Air Singapore flight. They're flown over to the Sultan of Brunei, who at the time was literally the world's richest man. They had their passports revoked. They were STD tested and they were forced into a harem, as Shannon put it, of 30 of the most beautiful women she had ever seen, most of them being underaged. In the 32 days Shannon was trapped there, she alleges that they were expected to sexually service rich and powerful men who came through the compound. There was even an event in which they were gassed and raped. Okay? The point is, this was a shell company that baited them, and Caliber was a shell company. I can't tell you who's actually behind the shell company right now. It has to do with a very elite medical clinic. I can't get into that because I'm not done investigating it. But the point is, it wasn't a modeling agency. It was a shell company. The actual address, if you went to the Caliber address, it's a shitty mail depot in a strip mall. Okay. Point is, they were trafficked there. Shannon came back to the United States and filed a lawsuit against the Sultan of Brunei and his rapist brother, Prince Jeffrey. And our Department of Justice looked at the case, gave those two men diplomatic immunity. It killed Shannon's case. Meanwhile, the UK courts went after them, and Prince Jeffrey rushed to settle for $500,000. Weirdly enough, a few months later, Brandy Sherwood actually would become Donald Trump's first Miss USA because he acquired the pageant in that same year in 96 and ran his next pageant months later in 97. My point is, we don't even have to talk about Trump's implications in that one, of which there are many. Again, I'm not fully ready to report on that yet. I'm telling you that back in the day, it was the same scenario, but without the internet. It was basically shell corporations bind you to like NDA. They offer you just kind of like an innocent premise, and by the time you meet the client, if you will, the work is actually prostitution. That's what it is, and this is exactly the same scenario in the digital age. That's it. And again, I said from the beginning of this live, I said that I'm not actually going to make any kind of direct allegation. I've never said that anybody has committed a crime here. But if the task, right, in terms of Trump, is to connect him to sex services, if you will. If the world is talking about him, potentially being connected to like an illicit world of sex work, of sex predation, etc., and so on. I mean, the best that we've had for the past fucking 20 years, outside of the birthday book, again, is just old Howard Stern tapes. It's him saying he used to know Jeffrey well. He heard that he likes them young, etc., and so on. And like I said from the onset of this, smoking guns are relative, right? Like I get it. Nothing appears illegal to have been happening here outside again for the potential of the campaign to have like spent money on this. But my point is like I needed to exhibit this because this is a definitive pattern that has a defined paper trail. This is not an accusation. This isn't an allegation. This is a digital paper trail that literally anybody could follow. And it is enshrined in time across multiple, like reputable reporters, as well as the U.S. Patent Office, et cetera, and so on. It's an observable trail. And again, this is all stuff that we found in the last 72 hours. And you just have to ask yourself, how many coincidences in a row do you think stack up in a line before it's the truth? And again, it's relative to you. I'm not here to prove that Donald Trump committed a crime. I'm here to prove to you that at minimum, Donald Trump's campaign is connected to what is at minimum like an OnlyFans network, and almost certainly, allegedly, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes, is a fucking escort service. And then you tie that to the fact that you literally had Jeffrey Epstein himself and his lawyer, Darren Endike, filing for this in 2006, while Jeffrey Epstein, with those 3 French rapists, were conspiring to build an modeling management. Again, ask yourself how much of a coincidence you think that is. Any questions? And hi, Jel. Welcome up to the panel.
I have a question, Tapley. Did you find some things, some of this stuff in the files themselves, the Epstein files?
Yes, all of those emails that I show, or the beginning of the slides, the stuff that was like talk. Here, let me pull this up. Like all of, give me 1 second. I have to pull it back up.
The first slideshow, and sorry I called you before, Tapley.
Okay.
It was like completely off center and nobody could see anything. So I was like, SOS, okay. But you fixed it. Yeah, those are all from the files that specific, what?
No,
really quick. Dave,
I thought she was saying
something. So much for having me. Oh. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. Wait, are you done, Jill?
I mean, I didn't know if you were done. I mean, I can provide context or you can continue.
You go ahead, Jill. You go ahead.
Yeah. All of the like the stuff in the slideshow, it's basically, I think what's important here isn't like jumping to we're not jumping to like a dramatic conclusion about like one person or like one singular company. I think what we all have to look at here is how the structure of the industry evolved, right? So like in the 80s and 90s, modeling was essentially very physical and centralized. Like modeling scouts would travel, the agencies would control access to the girls. and geography was a factor as well. They were traveling all over the world. And then when the internet was created, it kind of changed that completely. So suddenly you don't necessarily need to travel to scout, because basically girls and women are uploading themselves. Like, you don't need casting calls. You basically can build a database. And in one of the slideshows that maybe didn't have the context at the time, in one of the slides, there is a record of, after a specific timeline, where there's records of Epstein having association with the e-management brand on his JP Morgan bank financial statements. There is a 2011 model database proposal email that it's redacted basically, but it's to Jeffrey. And it basically states like, "Dear Jeffrey, I'd like to propose you discuss the plan which I always had in my head but needed some time to prepare. It can earn a lot of money. I'm already earning in Russia without any investment and can expose in a coming year. It's a fashion network online. The network already exists, doesn't need a lot of money to be developed. There's a very smart guy involved with an IT degree and work experience in the fashion and model business." Then he talks about next model management and specific models, and says that already 10,000 models have signed up online. And so keep in mind, this is like, this person is based in Europe. He's associating it with connections and investors through the United States and Russia as well. And there's already an online large network database that is going to be expanded globally. That is essentially the proposal. And, that could have turned into nothing, but I think it's just interesting to kind of set this up as like the overarching evolution of how the internet could have, changed things in terms of, I don't know, nefarious purposes, because there's a lot of like consulting or management, and there's ways that these people can essentially, overarchingly like control these databases. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with sex work. There's nothing wrong with an online database. What we're essentially saying is there could be recruitment, and the scale will explode, right? So the oversight will get a lot thinner. And then age verification also can become easier to manipulate, right? When there's traveling, like there's jurisdictions that can become like blurry and informal, right? So networking events or like collaborations, like they will replace the traditional agency structures. So when you line up that broader evolution up against like the timeline we're looking at now, I think it's to have discussions about like modeling acquisitions in the early 2000s, and then the creation of like the e-management agency in 2006, corporate filings and all the banking references, and then it's still active in the online database. I don't know. I just think it mirrors the exact transition from like physical scouting to digital intake pipelines. Okay. We can see like a cultural continuation of that shift, like throughout influencers and online sex work platforms, invite only collabs, private parties, stuff like that. So on the surface, much of that is definitely like illegal adult content, right? It's voluntary participation. There's consent involved, but like structurally, it resembles the same pipeline. Okay. It seems like it's all on the surface and it's fine. And a lot of it is fine, but like it's promoting aspirational young women to seek their exposure using like a visible online global database and like international traveling, and, significant like power imbalances can stem from that. So I just think that it's a very important topic that we should be looking at, because we always say things in hindsight is 2020, but we're not looking at how things have really revolutionized and how we can, how the people that controlled those huge agencies, like the modeling agencies and pageantry, and the objectification of young women and minors, we're seeing that with Epstein. We're seeing how that was much bigger than anybody really thought it was. And it was involved with so many more elite people that controlled so many more entities and were able to commit crimes globally. So I think that we need to take that perspective into the present day. It's important. That's all.
I'm sorry to introduce. Is it possible for me to ask a quick question of Tapley or Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tap, are you back?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry about
I
that. I'm
can
back.
put you back on the big screen. I wasn't sure if you just wanted to stay
No,
off
I'm
camera.
no, I'm
If
good. I had to pee and I'm sitting outside having a cigarette, so I don't want to do that on camera.
Okay,
But
so
by the
looks like
way,
this.
RJO Core is in.
I think
He
it's a
might be
fake
in the
account.
queue. Oh,
It's
okay.
only got
Thank.
100
Yeah,
followers.
it's a
Yeah.
troll
Okay.
account.
Okay. Yeah, and
Um,
by the way, hold on just a second. Somebody talk for 30 seconds because I have one more thing to read to you guys. Give me just a second, okay? Go ahead.
so if you want, hold on, sorry. So the people on the panel, you can go ahead and ask Tapley questions. Tapley, are
Awesome.
you okay if a couple people want to request up and ask you some
Yeah, anybody,
questions?
and listen, like I can read. I see the comments. I'm ready to handle the heat. I totally understand. That's why I literally have been saying for days on panels. It's a closed loop. I'm never accusing anybody of a crime. Um, this is about like a fucking pattern, okay? And I'm ready to face any backlash. You can bring up anybody you want to, but I do just quickly want to read to you something that I don't know how this even got left out, but this is from Raw Story, and this is from December 12th, 2025. Okay, new headline: New emails suggest Trump made insulting bid to fund Epstein-linked modeling project. Okay.
Oh,
Article. A new batch of more than 20,000 emails revealed that a Mr. Trump apparently offered to help fund a proposed modeling company spearheaded by Jeffrey Epstein in 2006. A proposal that was described in an email as, quote, ridiculous and insulting. The new batch of emails was obtained by Distributed Denial of Secrets, or DDoS Secrets, a nonprofit whistleblower group that shared them selectively with news outlets, including Raw Story. They differ from the document dump of 20,000 pages of the files from the Epstein's estate released by the House Oversight Committee. In early 2006, an individual by the name of Cecilia Steen, who Bloomberg has described as an, quote, assistant of Epstein, sent Epstein an email regarding a new, quote, project, the creation of a new company with proposed names being E Models and E equals MC squared and E Management. According to the email, the proposed company would, quote, take over the assets of MC2 Model Management, an international modeling agency that operated out of New York, Florida, and Tel Aviv, Israel, and was founded by one of those three French rapists, Jean-Luc Brunel, a French model scout who launched MC2 with considerable financial backing from Epstein. In 2020, Brunel was accused of being involved in sex trafficking in association with Epstein and died by apparent suicide while awaiting sex trafficking charges in 2022, in a manner similar to how Epstein died while also awaiting his charges in 2019. While the email was sent to Epstein by someone named Steen, it was signed with the name Alain Kittler, the co-founder of Elite Model Management, a French modeling agency. I mentioned him earlier. Kittler co-founded Elite Model Management alongside John Casablancas, a French modeling agent who was friends with President Donald Trump and whose modeling agency represented Trump's daughter, Ivanka, when she was 15 years old. By the way, the photos from that era of her are fucking disgusting. And it's insane that she was ever represented at Elite because by that point, all of those men had been accused of rape multiple times. But regardless, on the creation of the new company, the email sent by Steen but signed by Kittler describes an apparent funding offer from a Mr. Trump. Last week, or quote, last week, we also received a last written proposal from Mr. Trump. As expected, it was ridiculous and insulting, the email reads. Quote, the problem for us remains in the payment of our loans and commissions for 2005. We will seek some advice on how to handle it. Epstein, responding to the email on January the 17th, 2006, wrote that the details of the potential startup sounded like, quote, a good beginning, but asked for, quote, more details. Quote, can you tell me how much is currently owed to by Trump to you? And what is his position? Will he try to attach any ownership in E equals MC square? Maybe you should only have an irrevocable option on the shares to avoid his litigation, Epstein wrote. While it's unclear specifically who Mr. Trump refers to, it could potentially be President Trump or Eddie Trump, a South African born real estate developer with no relation to Donald Trump, and whose company purchased Elite Model Management in 2004 for just under $6 million. In 1980s, Donald Trump sued Eddie Trump over a dispute regarding their shared last name. That's the end of the story.
hey,
Just a little
Tapley.
bit. Yep. What's up,
I'm
Middies?
just curious. Have you like looked into the Trilateral Commission at all, or
I
anything
have,
like
but
that?
in what term or under what term
Well, I mean, like with Epstein's involvement with
or
the
in what
Trilateral
term?
Commission or anything like that.
Yeah, like a cursory review, but not in any kind of a deep dive sense. I mean, I know that he was a member of it. I know what it is. It was founded by Rockefeller, right? And it
Correct.
was
Yeah.
basic. Yeah, yeah. So, do you want to explain it to the audience? Like, basically, isn't it like an alliance between, it's like Europe, Asia, North America, and maybe somewhere else? I think it's like three or
Well,
four
yeah. Well, it's
countries.
3 that chair it, but there's like
Okay.
74 seats, I think, that are on it. That
Yes.
basically affect global foreign policy for like every major country.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was just curious if you like went down that road or not, and then also I was wondering if you could like tie all this back into like the Grang Tower theory.
I would be happy to talk about the Grang Tower theory if you would like. Do you want to
Yeah,
do
sure, that'd
that?
be fantastic. I could explain
Okay.
it if you want me to.
Sure. Before we do that, let's welcome Dean Withers to the panel.
Oh, hi, Dean.
Hi. I don't want to interrupt the current flow of the conversation. I do just have a singular question kind of relating back to everything discussed earlier, but I don't mind waiting my turn.
That's fine. We can go ahead and deal with Mideast peace. What he wants to talk about is the Grang Tower theory. A few weeks ago, I was a part of a debate with him and a debate with Millie. And I couldn't even tell you what the debate was actually about at this point, but near the end of the conversation, before the two of them quit the panel, Mideast Peace asked me if I knew what the Grang Tower theory was. My brain immediately went to a theory that
It
I
was
have
very
debated
Opus
multiple
Dei.
times. Okay, yes, with Trump Prophet. Um, Basically, Trump Prophet, if you guys know him, he's an Opus Dei, right? Like
Very
everything
fall of
should be
Rome.
like the time exactly.
Yeah,
And I've had that
Is this
argument
like
with him.
related to tonight's discussion?
It's really
100%.
not. This is Mideast trying to embarrass me, but I'm willing to
I'm
engage
not
with
trying
it.
to embarrass you.
Oh, hey, Mideast, do you mind like dropping if you only have questions that are unrelated to tonight's discussion?
Well, no, I did. I asked him about the Trilateral Commission. I had a few other questions for
Okay.
him, but
All right. Well, let's move on. I'm really excited to meet Dean Withers. Have a nice night. If you want to like come do this after the show, go ahead. I'll do it with you in fucking public. I got you, boy. Sorry about that. Yes.
I just
Hey,
want. Oh, sorry.
go
Go
ahead,
ahead.
sorry.
Or I don't know.
You've been here for longer. The mic's before you.
Yeah, I just want to mention. I know people who worked with Stormy Daniels on the documentary. So if you have some kind of financial thing, and I don't know if I can try to get you a contact. I don't know what they would give me, but just I sent you a DM just so you know.
The answer is a hard yes, and I will definitely be responding to you after this panel.
Sounds good. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Hi, Dean. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Dean, please take the floor. It sounded like you had a question for me.
So I've been watching since the beginning of the stream. An hour and 28 minutes ago, I've been kind of listening in the background. But my question is, I guess if you had to sum up all of the key takeaways from the investigation that you've done into like a thesis statement, like what would you say that thesis statement would be predicated off of everything that you went over the last hour and a half?
Okay, so for boiling only this live down to a simple thesis, the thesis is this, is that I am able to close a loop in terms of ownership, essentially, through between Donald Trump for President LLC with David Marmon as the executor, a 501c3 expert in conjunction with his son. Basically, dad is the paper guy, son is the recruiter. He's the point of contact between quote unquote models. Now, again, if you were to actually go through younger Marmon's like kind of socials, etc., you decide if you scroll through his Instagram and you see what the content looks like. Again, I mean, here, I mean, if we want to pull this up, basically, like the simple point is it's very clearly erotic based, and when you actually like connect his other tagged accounts, like the e-management X account, it makes it explicitly clear that it's targeted specifically to OnlyFans creators, aka sex workers, whether they're escorts or not. So the simple claim here is that Donald Trump's campaign, Trump for President LLC, is connected to a website that is focused on sex workers, sex for commerce. And
Do you
let's
mind
be
if
very
I ask another
clear.
question?
Oh, yeah. Can I just say one more thing really quick? Just really quick. And let's be very clear. An LLC is a detachment from an individual, right? So Trump for President LLC is his campaign's LLC. It doesn't even necessarily mean that, like, you can't legally, that's the point of an LLC, especially if it's been filed in New York, or sorry, in New Mexico, as I've already explained. He's detached from it in a technical sense as like a solo entity, but this is his campaign. Okay. And the
And
executors are like filed to
so,
these oh, sorry, go ahead.
so for Primrose, the OF management agency, is
Right.
the only connection between like Trump and that agency the fact that the agency's founder's dad is who opened Trump for president?
Actually, no. If you actually click through the rest of, if you click through the content and you familiarize yourself with who his lead photographer is, it takes you to this account that lead photographer has. Maybe Jill, you know the blue car?
Yeah,
Jill,
I mean,
do you want to explain that?
yeah, I just want to say, like, I don't, it's not necessarily like, oh, we are 100% convinced that like Trump is at the center of all of this. Like, I don't know if you were here before, but I kind of did like an overarching idea of how this was an entity that was created through Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel, who are now both dead, and the modeling pipeline kind of transferred, right? It evolved into like the internet sphere. But yeah, so the connection to Trump for President LLC, the Penrose emblem insignia thing, which obviously is, that's, I can see how that is like a little bit of, yeah,
Circumstantial.
it's circumstantial. And then also like, I did kind of, I really stalked like the EMA account, and found, or the real David Marmon account on Instagram that has 102,000 followers, who also like is connected to the LLC or whatever. It used to be called E-Management Agency. Like that's what the account used to be called. Cause I looked through all of the highlights on the stories. I don't know if people understand what I'm saying, but a lot of people like tagged him, and it used to be called E-Management Agency, which is literally what the entity that was established, that we can see in the files through Darren Indyke and Jeffrey Epstein's bank accounts, and trademarks that still exist online in the database today and are still active,
Yes,
was
and do
called. And then
remember David Indyke filed this. Like you see in the emails that the three French perverts, in conjunction with Epstein, were interested in starting e-management or e-model management, right? And
I'm sorry if I'm coming off like rude.
you're not at all,
I
Dean.
really don't want to
You're not at all.
come across rude. I guess I'm like looking for like more concise answers to help this make sense in my brain, and in
That's
doing
totally
so,
okay.
it'll also probably be very meaningful to like a lot of the viewers as well, who might also find that helpful. So just like for clarification, the connection between Donald Trump and the OF agency would be the fact that the father of the guy who owns the OF agency opened up an LLC named Trump for President in 2015, and the old name
Well,
of
is the
the Instagram
executor
account is
opened
connected
it up and
to.
is the executor and lawyer.
Okay. So the connection between the OF agency and Trump is that the dad of the guy who started the OF agency worked with Trump.
Correct. Or Trump for President LLC. Yes.
Okay. Is that it? Like, or is there anything else that I'm missing here? Is that kind of like?
So again, if we can all agree that in the email you see that all of these men in the mid-aughts were conspiring to make an agency that was literally had the exact same name, Jeffrey Epstein's long-term lawyer, based on those conversations, we can see this in the emails. We can see it on like patenting websites. We literally can observe that Darren Endike, in fact, registered E-Management LLC in 2006. That that entity is still active. It's still paid for every year, in spite of the fact that Jeffrey's dead, in spite of the fact that Jean-Luc Brunel's dead. Literally everyone's dead except Alain Kittler. He's like the last man standing, I suppose. John Casablancas died of cancer in 2012, but didn't appear to have anything to do with this anyway. The point is that entity still exists. And you have to ask yourself why. Why is it still paid for? Wouldn't that kind of lead you to assume that on some level that LLC is still some kind of an operational force or still operational force? And if it is, and I'm then able to see more contemporaneously, right, like from 2016 and beyond, that there is an e-management. And that e-management is tied to Trump for President LLC. And we know everything that we know about Donald Trump. Again, we've already established a precedent for his campaign, literally like using its funds to pay for sex workers. The implication that I'm making is that on some level, Trump, through his campaign, his official campaign, appears to be linked to them via a paper, to the same name company via a paper trail. And again, I'm not a federal prosecutor. I'm not a judge. I'm an investigator that has found a long trail of receipts, and then I match it against established precedent and pattern based on what we know about these people involved, all of whom are notorious predators who are interested in young women, particularly models, particularly beauty queens. And now it's 2026. Yes, we're talking about OnlyFans influencers. Sure, they didn't exist 30 years ago because the internet did. What I'm suggesting is an evolution of the exact same system that these men provably relied upon throughout the 80s and the 90s to assault, traffic, and or just have consensual sex in many events with women. What I'm suggesting to you is that this appears to be the exact same thing for the digital age. And I wonder, why is Donald Trump's name connected to this via his official campaign? And then again, I get it. It's like you can easily just dismiss it as fluff. I know the Penrose thing is like very circumstantial at best. But again, like my question here tonight, or my purpose here tonight, is not to offer you some smoking gun. I'm asking you how many coincidences in a row are you willing to swallow? That's it. I don't know if that's satisfactory. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know, Dean.
Oh, that's a question being asked to me. Well, I was just asking for clarification. I mean, I guess what I'd say here is, to expect questions, kind of asking for clarification on the view.
Sure.
So, okay. Well, I mean, I think I got a satisfactory answer for my question. I appreciate you. I hope you have a good rest of your night.
Can I tell you before you go? Obviously, I'm very honored to have you on the panel, and I totally accept. If you feel like this is a nothing burger, I totally accept. If you feel like I haven't framed this for you in a way that is compelling or worth further examination or consideration. Again, I just truly ask anybody listening tonight, based on what we know about the individuals involved, is it a stretch? And again, one coincidence, two coincidences,
I
three
mean,
coincidences, maybe.
do you want me to be honest?
Sure, Dean.
From what I understand, okay, and maybe there's a couple moving parts here that I don't understand.
Mhm.
I kind of see it as a stretch. That's kind of like my current position.
That's
Like
fair.
if the reduction here is that Trump has connections with a guy whose son owns an OF modeling agency, sure. Like I mean, I don't think that claims a stretch. I'm sure that Trump in somehow is in some ways connected to Trump for President LLC. I don't know if that's. I don't think that's for campaign funding because that's not the corporation that is tied to his FEC. The corporation
Yeah.
that's tied to his FEC is Trump for President Incorporated, not Trump for President LLC. So that's not for campaign
That is
financing.
true. And I will say, to
Um,
be fair, like the LLC like pertained like, to paraphernalia, etc., from what I could see or from
yeah,
what we were
but
able to observe.
I mean, I'm fine with saying here that there's there's a high likelihood that there's like some like connection between whoever opened up Trump for President LLC and Trump, especially with a background in like the e-management that's mentioned in the Epstein files, right? Like, I'm not going to dispute that. So I don't think that's a stretch. I think that there's definitely a connection between whomever opened up Trump for President LLC and Donald Trump for sure. But I don't know. Like, I guess I just don't really take the fact that the son of the guy who opened up Trump for President LLC owning a OF modeling company is like, I don't know if that like really like tells us much, if that makes any sense from my perspective.
Sure.
But like, maybe I just maybe I'm confused. I'm left out of the loop on a couple things. I'm just trying to be honest.
That's totally okay. And I can fully swallow that, Dean, truly. And and kind of the thing that gets tricky here too, like especially for Jill and I, right? Because we've been deep in this shit for like 8 months. There are so many other threads that we know that aren't directly connected to this, but in their own respects, like apply cooperative, like they corroborate the pattern, right? That has basically influenced the implication, if that makes sense, from our perspective. Again, like if you sort of kind of consider sort of how that whole Brunei operation worked, where the harem happened. By the way, that would be the same Sultan of Brunei's palace when you see pictures of Bill Clinton and Ghislaine Maxwell in the pool. When we saw those in December, that would also be at the Sultan of Brunei's palace in 2002 on a trip that Bill Clinton took with Epstein to that palace on the Lolita Express. Right? Like there are a lot of other sort of historical things that most of the public never heard before, or is just lost, forgotten to time, etc., that we're highly aware of and that we're still investigating, that basically like apply corroboration to the pattern. And, I can prove to you that Donald Trump knows Shannon Marketic. I can prove to you that her life got a lot better after 2016. When she stopped talking to the press, just like I could prove to you, um, I would be able to prove to you, oh God, who was I thinking of? Jill Harth. Just like I could prove to you that about a month after Trump actually won the presidency in November of 2016, an anonymous donor paid off the remainder of her mortgage to the tune of $30,000. And in spite of the fact that she was a struggling makeup artist at the time and it didn't seem like she was going to make it, if you look at her socials right now, she seems handily employed. And it just so turns out that every single one of her clients are all of your favorite pundits on News Nation, Fox News, and Michael Bloomberg himself. And business seems good. We could, spend some time thinking about the way that Karen McDougal, what happened to her when Donald Trump and the guy from, what's his name, David Pecker, the guy from AMI from the National Enquirer, where Trump and he conspired behind her back. Because do you know what happened to Karen McDougal? She had a consensual, like 7, I believe, month affair in 2007 with him. And basically, in the lead up to the election, a representative from AMI came to her and said, "Hey, it's crazy. You had an affair with the guy that might end up being president. What a story. You can make some money off of this. Why don't you let me buy the rights to your story and I'll help you promote it? We'll make some money." She didn't realize that what she was signing was essentially a conspiracy letter. It was an NDA that representative and Donald Trump planned together to catch and kill her story. When she signed on the dotted line, she was forevermore to face a stiff financial penalty if she ever spoke of Trump, period. And she has chosen to override the potential for that penalty, and she's spoken on it. But again, it's a part of a pattern. And so what I'm suggesting is like, I already know that Donald Trump multiple times over has been tied to like these same sets of circumstances, these same lanes of young women who are like either fucked consensually or against their consent for fucking money, and then are silenced and pressured to submit. And generally, when they stop talking, it looks like their life gets a lot better.
Okay.
I mean,
I appreciate you for having me up. I'm gonna go ahead and drop. Kudos to you. I think that the tenacity to want to look into this all is a really good thing, and I think it's a good thing for more and more people to be paying attention. So I hope that you all have a good rest of your evening.
nice to meet you, Dina. I appreciate you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Have a wonderful night.
I just want to say, as a cult survivor and whistleblower, that the financial ties is usually what takes things down.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. So, like, good on you for looking at it. And, like, at this point, coincidence or not, whatever, like, lean into it and look at it. Like, obviously, like, there's going to be talking heads on both sides that are be like trying to dismiss everything here. But I think a lot of people are not really realizing the level of evil that we're dealing with. As somebody who's survived pathological psychopaths, I know how they are. I know how they act. They cover their tracks. They delete witnesses. Like, it goes on and on and on. And the one thing that they really have a hard time hiding is finances. And I do want to say, like, if you are kind of looking into it, like, there's a lot of really questionable stuff, like Powerball winning like 3 times, and other things like that, that I think we also need to look at local governments as well and question whether or not those people are compromised themselves. So I don't know. I've been digging into kind of smaller fry things lately, but that definitely, like, look at the money, follow the money. If there's a way to get a hold of that, like, go and do it, because you're gonna get ripped to shreds if you're like, oh, look at this logo, it's similar to that logo. Like, you have to have, like, evidence. And they're not going to go down for any of the child baby punching things. Like, they're going to go for money, hopefully.
I should also add,
Yeah, I just want to.
you must also ask yourself, right? If this still active filing for e-management never technically came to fruition, right? Like, if it didn't become an entity, first of all, why is it still paid for? And then also, why is it selectively, in several contexts actually, placed throughout the files, right? Like, as if evidence for something. Because you have to understand, like, every single thing that we are seeing as being released in the files means that it is germane, in theory, to, like, building a case, if you will.
So I gotta ask.
This isn't. Hold on 1 second. I just wanted to add something because I wanted, like, it's not about, like, claiming. I know that, like, we're reading the comments and, like, I've seen it already in other lives, like, it's fine. But, like, this isn't necessarily about claiming that, like Tapley said, that he's uncovered, like, a single smoking gun, like, tying everything neatly together. We're not, prosecutors. We're not in a court. Like, we do this on our own, with the resources that we have. And I just think it's more about kind of looking at the ecosystem as a whole, like Elle said. Like, we do know Trump was deeply embedded in the modeling and pageant world, right, for decades. Like, he owned major pageants. He worked closely with all of the powerful figures and heads of industry that ran large parts of the modeling world. And he's not only that, but faced, like, multiple publicly reported sexual misconduct and assault allegations, right, including from contestants in his own pageants, right? And at the same time, we're seeing entities like just example, like the e-management, appear in both the Epstein linked legal filings and then, ambiguous online forms and, like, weird websites that look like shell companies. There's, like, patterns of that and short-lived LLCs that are weird. I understand, like, it's all conjecture, but, like, these are tools that wealthy and political connected people routinely and for a very long time have used for privacy and financial structuring. So when you layer that onto like the broader shift from in-person scouting to like an internet-based databases or like influencer culture, or like monetized collab ecosystems with events at like hotels or mansions in Beverly Hills and Florida, you can see how the recruitment and the mobility and the money have like kind of all become this digitized system that is harder to regulate, because like none of this alone will prove, okay, there's a trafficking ring, but we already know that Epstein was doing that. So taking it all together, it shows why, following the financial documents and like these opaque corporate structures is just, it's just one of the most like rational ways to essentially examine how exploitation networks could have evolved inside like high profit, low transparency industries. So that's that. Yeah.
Okay, so what penal code are we charging all this under? Like, I was told this was a big gotcha moment. You hyped it up all week. Like,
hold on, Hoff.
Where's the penal code?
Your kids, Hoff, you should worry about your son's own essay case, okay? Instead of coming up
Big
here
Poppy,
trying to criticize people.
You should shut up on things you know
You've been
nothing
in the
about.
fucking comments all night being a fucking scumbag. Worry about your kids'
I'm
essay
asking legitimate questions.
before you come up here.
If you want me to ask non-legitimate
questions,
questions,
I will ride at
I can
dawn
ask
for
you how
Tapley.
this relates to the Grand
Say
Tower
the shit
theory.
you were saying in the comments, Hoff.
Oh, the fact that this is a waste of oxygen and you
keep
should plant a
arguing.
forest for the waste of oxygen?
I
Yeah,
was
that's
gonna
legitimate.
say,
I
can you guys,
would
like, not
listen.
argue for 20 seconds so I can say
I'm
something?
totally willing to like if Hoff wants to do this, we can definitely do it. I would like to like kind of just sort of conclude any sort of like questions that we might have before we start debating about this.
Yeah, I kind
Does
of
anybody?
had a question.
What's
Sorry,
up, Velvet?
I'll just be like 2 seconds.
I do think that this is worth going down.
Sorry, I just came up for 2 seconds. So, Hoff, it's kind of funny. Hey, Tapley, great show.
Thanks,
I find it so ironic that the same people, when I went over to Hoff's live that was restreaming this live, that said that I was clout chasing when I did it a couple days ago with unknown creators, are suddenly now in the queue trying to queue up. Oh, I'm lying? Hold on, wait a second, Sierra. I got the screenshots, babe. And I got a video on my page of y'all
I
restreaming
restreamed it because it's something we're talking about,
it
not
ain't
a
a lie.
debate. We were trying to see if there's actual evidence that we could take to the FBI, because this is not actually where you take the information. You would take it to some credible source.
FBI about a TikTok live.
Hold on, Slayer. This is coming from the same guy last night that tried to claim that the DOJ and the FBI couldn't get a search warrant for Zorro Ranch while they searched the other three
I didn't say they couldn't. I said they had a specific search warrant.
You said that
but
there
again,
wasn't enough
they
evidence.
need a reason for the search warrant.
Hold on one sec. I'm not okay. Either I'm like dumb as fuck, but like what Tapley just presented to I don't know how people aren't seeing what was just presented to you. And you've got to take correlation here. You've got to take a pattern here. Like, you've got to connect the dots here. Tapley basically 99.9% proved something. And if we could see the money trail, it would probably be 100%. So I don't know why people are more concerned about saying we were expecting more than saying, wow, he actually really connected some dots between a fucking OnlyFans escort agency and Donald Trump's LLC. Like, I'm not understanding why everyone is trying to argue this shit. It's fucking simple.
I don't know what the FBI is going to do.
Yeah, like, Lord, we're not talking Tylenol here. There's your correlation versus causation.
Dude, you're going to call the
we're
FBI
talking about if there's
a
enough
TikTok
information
live.
to charge somebody, and this is a nothing burger.
Well, if the FBI actually bothered
Of course,
to investigate things, we would
Hey
have
guys. So here's what we need to do. We're just going to take like a 3 to 5 minute pause. Acorn, she needs to go to bed. She wants to quickly show you guys something. This is a quick pivot. Go ahead.
Slayer, stay up, Slayer.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Like, I just can't handle the yelling and the debating and the nonsense. I just want to give you all an update. I showed you this, I think, maybe 2 weeks ago now. And we are working, a small group of that is helping me are working on actually getting the files into a format where people will be able to do a pull request, and they will be able to put this in their own Obsidian, and they'll be able to do deep dives and follow whatever thing they want to follow. This is my personal one. This isn't all the files, but we're working on getting all of the files into a format that people will be able to take from us, put in their own Obsidian, and do the research. So I don't know, like if Tapley would do the research that he just did and put that into a Obsidian file or not, or some of the stuff that Jill was doing with the like stolen artwork or fraudulent artwork stuff. I know there's people that are saying, "Hey, we want to look at it." And please, I don't need any gifts. Give my gifts to somebody else. Thank you. I don't want any gifts, please. Thank you. There's somebody reached out and said, "Hey, we
And
want."
sorry, just really quick, just for the record, without getting into it, it's actually important that you do not send acorn gifts. Please do
Yeah,
not. Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
I really appreciate it, but just I don't need the gifts. I don't want the gifts. I got reached out to, said they want to cross reference the MMIWC, the missing and murdered Indigenous women and children. They want to cross reference it with the dates in the file, in the files. So there's different groups of people want to look into different parts of this. And so, yeah, I just wanted to come up and give an update. I've added more to this one. This is my own personal one, but I'm hoping to get more of a community one. Thank you for giving me the time.
I'm very pleased that you came up here and did your thing, Acorn. I'm really proud of you. This is a remarkable tool. I can't wait to load my research into it. And kudos to you. You've done an incredible amount of work, and that's just so pretty to look at.
Thank you,
And
sir.
literally our reaction, or mine and Jill's reaction the first time you showed that to us, was truly that it was the tool that we wish that we had had all along, but we didn't
Yeah.
know how to verbalize it because it just kind of didn't exist. So thank you so much for all that you've done.
Yeah, and there's a really cool thing you can do with GitHub where you can make it collaborative. So if you have your own Obsidian and you want to have like a small team of people helping out on it, you can put it through GitHub. There's like some sort of extension or plugin or whatever. And so you all can push and pull the same vault to and from the same vault. And so you'll be updating each other. So somebody could completely in a different location could be working on it and adding to it. And yeah, this is going to be a really good tool for these deep dives and for finding more connections, etc. And we might have maybe not the Obsidian part of it, but the data part of it available ASAP, and people can use that. It's going to be publicly available. It's just the files. It's nothing outside of the files. So what Tapley showed you tonight with like the news articles and like the LLCs and the trademarks and the copyrights and all that, none of that is going to be in what we make available. But if you do the research, you can put that into yours and it'll be there. And then you go ahead.
To be clear, that a lot of that was found in the files as well. Like the LLCs that are listed are in the files. Just wanted to give that context.
Yeah, they're named in the files, but are those websites that say the registration and all that in the files?
No, I just meant in terms of like the e-management thing and like Darren
Yeah,
Indike.
the name is, but I think Tapley went outside of the files and did a search for e-management and
No,
found
of course, no.
additional
I understand
sources.
that. I was
Yeah.
just adding. I don't want people to think that like
Oh,
we
yeah.
didn't use the files at all.
No,
That's all.
what I
Yeah.
mean is the files are one kind of source, and then there's additional sources that add to it and help make connections and help strengthen the research being done. That's what I meant. Sorry. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, Acorn, I'll talk to you offline
Okay.
very soon, and I very much appreciate you being here. Job well done. I
Thank you.
deeply
I
appreciate
appreciate
you.
it. Thank you.
All
I'll
right.
drop
Thanks
now.
for
I
staying
just
up
can't
so
handle
late.
the arguing. This is too much for
I
me.
understand. I
Thank you.
understand. All right. We'll see you again soon. Have a wonderful night, Acorn.
That keeps
Tapley, I
coming
just
every
want to
time
say
we
to you,
see it.
Tapley, Tapley, I just want to say to you, that was great work. People are always, Mega's always going to be in denial. Keep doing what you're doing because you're doing the right thing. You're
Absolutely.
going to have these haters up here that doubt everything you do because they can't accept the truth. Okay? Don't
And
stop. Never
listen,
stop.
Poppy. I absolutely am not going to stop. I'm not going to be deterred. And I have, like some of like we've talked at length about certain things that I probably shouldn't even talk about on panels. I have way more damning leads than this. I brought this to you in full presentation simply because, at least in the terms of Trump for LLC, right, and the attachment to that. Adult entity, if you will, the loop is closed on that. I don't like to talk about things. I don't like to present things that I cannot corroborate with a defined paper trail that goes in a complete circle. I've been very clear from the very beginning of this panel that I didn't come here to accuse anybody of even anything criminal. I wanted you guys to see a hard paper trail that goes in one direction. And then I was very honest about that I haven't yet, or we haven't yet, been able to, in a defined way, ensure with like double, triple cooperation, right? That like that circle then attaches to the other circle, which is Epstein and the three French perverts, etc. And that's kind of that's the gray space of this. And that's the space in which I'm asking you in this moment while we continue to investigate and continue to try and close that loop. If the loop will close, we're not going to force it. If it's not true, it's not fucking true. And I'm not going to lie. But the point is if we do attach that one closed circle to yet another circle, that's pretty fucking damning. And the point is, meanwhile, in that gray space where it's still undetermined if they're both kind of one and the same, I keep asking you guys, how many coincidences in a row, on top of all the context that we have about the people that the disgusting people that we're talking about, I'm asking you, do you really think that there is no there? Does it really not make sense? Is it outside of the realm of possibility? Is it unfeasible? Or is it perhaps more than likely based on what you know? And again, I'm not here to tell you what to think. Smoking guns or whatever are relative. It's up to you. It's up to what you know. It's up to what impacts you on a moral level, etc., and so on. And if and when, of course, I do find a direct tie, right, to the original filing by, via Darren and Dyke and the Fringe Perverts, I'll fucking let you know. And the moment that I hit a brick wall and it seems like there's another answer, or I just literally hit the end of the road, weeks from now, month from now, whatever, I'll tell you.
I mean, wasn't there
I've tried to be
reporting
as
that Trump?
transparent as possible.
What wasn't there reporting that Trump? Didn't you add something else that you found, which was Trump tried to buy the modeling company?
Yes, but Jill, yes, but you remember the other thing with the other Trump from South Africa that we just found out about today,
Oh,
right?
right.
Which, like, I
Okay.
don't even think we should talk about right now,
You
which
might
is
have
also fucking crazy. And thank you for Becca Day for sending me that information earlier. I only wish that I had had time to be able to loop it into the show. Because to me, it made everything else feel more damning. And I know that a lot of people in this room very much disagree with me on that front, and that's okay.
I'm
That's
wondering
okay.
if Europe, because we know America is not going to do it right now, but if Europe's going to start following the money trails because of the connections over there.
Here's hoping, Roxy. And hi again, Dean. I heard you try and get in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do this thing where I get focused on one subject and then I think so much about it, and I usually end up having about 1 billion questions about it. And I just thought of another question, so I thought I'd quickly request ask it. How do we know that David Marmon Sr. or whatever is the father of the other David Marmon?
Because on what was it like True People Search or whatever, we were able through like physical address and basically like mapped relations, if you will, on like True People Finder and other things like that, kept connecting the two of them. And there's overlap between residences in Utah, New Mexico, and or there's no overlap in LA. He has or the junior has ties to Huntington Beach and Los Angeles as well.
Yeah, and on David
But-
Marmon, he's like David Marmon, David G. Marmon II. So they have the same middle initial, and this could very well be like an actor. Like this could very well be someone who's like a front for like, you know what I mean? Like he could be acting as some sort of like scout or influencer type person. Like that happens. So there's not like, we don't have like a DNA test, but it's
yeah,
just.
I do not have either individual's like birth records. I don't have a DNA test like Jill said, but there is like address overlap, same states. And then on top of that, if you go back into the archive to like Junior Marmon's website, you see basically like the contact David Marmon leads to Junior, but like if you click through basically, then there's like a link to the 501c3 website, like to elders essentially. So like even on like the same sites, and then with like one of the patent serial numbers, it like ties two ways to both individuals. And then they also like have addresses in the same state and are like, according to these like people background things, like every single time sort of you look for one, like the closest relative is him or is the other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and
Okay.
David Marmon, the junior guy, like I kind of went more like we found David Marmon like marmondesigns.com with his face. Like we found like a Twitter account, and it's like associated with New Mexico, which is where all of the LLCs are like registered in. And it's like there seems to be association with like another weird shell company that's like also about like WordPress and what is it called? Like consulting. Like the website just makes absolutely no sense, and there's just like a sign up button. I mean, it's just
almost everything that
weird.
you see that isn't this like e-management thing or like Penrose. There's so many other weird LLCs, but they're all just like nebulous sites that are basically like, we are a blurry marketing firm.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
rather
No, yeah,
unclear
no,
what
good.
we do.
Again,
And they just
our-
kind of feel like shells probably for other things that have nothing to do,
There's
with
a-
women and
So,
sex. But
do we have any crimes
You-
here?
One
I'm
second.
still-
1 second off. 1 second. I'm sorry. I know the Hoff guy. I see him on live all the time. He's always.
oh, we know him
screaming
too.
Can we kick him
Yeah.
out?
But anyways,
I mean, he's a cloud
Don't
chaser.
kick Hoff. Just Hoff, behave yourself and just wait for us to finish before you like crash out. Okay. Sorry, Dean.
I appreciate you so much for answering the question. And that's all I had. That's all I had. Have a good night again.
It's okay.
I'm
And
not
listen,
crashing
and
out.
hey, Dean,
I'm asking
hold on.
legitimate
Hey,
questions
hold
about
on, Hoff,
crimes.
just a second, Dean. And feel free, like you said, that you're the kind of person who ruminates on things, and suddenly, a question might pop up. Please feel free, DM me anytime or privately, and I'm happy to answer any question that you might ever have. Okay.
Cool. Take care.
Okay. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Very nice. Hoff, I find it funny and ironic that you call me a cloud chaser, but you're on the panel and restreaming on your live at the same time.
Yeah, because they want me to ask a question, they want to hear it. Again,
And can we make sure
it's
you
a
have
legitimate
pants on
question.
first?
You can't make
Hoff.
this shit up. It writes
Hoff,
itself.
can we make sure? Hey, Slayer, we got to ask him first. Are you wearing pants on this live? Because we know how you like to go pantsless on your lives.
Yeah, that's a rumor you guys spread around, but good point. I mean, if you want to make the rumor, go ahead. Continue your baseless claims.
Okay, cool. Hoff, you have a wonderful night. Like, I would truly rather just like, there's a lot of people in the queue, people actually wanting to ask questions. Please And I can't like be doing this all night. It's been like the longest 2 days of 2026 for me. Let's get, oh great, we have Still I Rise, who I did know had questions, and then we're gonna bring up Curtis. I saw him asking down in the bottom. All right. Welcome, Rise. How you doing?
How are you?
Very well. Thanks for being here. What's going on?
No, I appreciate everything you went through. I know I had to be. There's like this endorphin release. You're going to sleep pretty well tonight, I think, for about 12 hours. I was wondering. I mean, for me, all the focus seems to be on the stuff that we can find, and that's typically not how we're gonna crack some big things. Like it's going to be pieces of the puzzle to connect, like the sinuous tissue. So, for example, when we tracked down after 9/11, how we got the pilots was flight schools, immigration logs, and that kind of thing. Given this is right after 9/11, there's a lot of data that was held onto by the government. So I'm wondering if you might have thought about looking at the principles behind some of these shell corporations and seeing if there is any connections between where in Europe they traveled, how often they traveled back and forth to the United States, and then cross-reference that with immigration records to see who is also on those flights and determine whether or not they flew alone, and then build it from there. You see what I'm saying? Because if they flew
I
back and forth,
absolutely do know what you're saying, and it's something that I'll definitely be working on in the context of this. And in fact, I'm sort of been kind of trying to do the same thing, but sort of on a different lane. Some of you know that I know a lot about one particular guy named Joe Cinque, who Donald Trump pretends not to know, in spite of the fact that I can place them in photographs together for almost 40 years. But something weird about Joe Cinque, he owns what I also deem to be a shell company called American Academy of Hospitality and Sciences, which on its face looks as if it is sort of a Temu Michelin service that hands out star diamond certifications to properties. Basically, the bait being like, this is a really nice place. And interestingly enough, if you were to go on his website, you look at who he hands out all of his awards to, it would be all of Donald Trump's properties and all of Dorchester collection properties, and then just a small handful of others. Point is, first of all, Dorchester collection, guess who it's owned by? I've mentioned him tonight, the Sultan of Brunei. The most important hotels in the world, including Trump's favorite, the Hotel Beverly Hills, are under that umbrella. And what's interesting about Joe Cinque is, in spite of, aside from the fact that he only gives awards to Dorchester and Donald Trump, is I think he forgets that he has a Venmo, or not a Venmo, oh Jesus Christ, what's it called? Vimeo page that he hasn't touched in about 16 years. And there's like 70 videos on it. And in spite of the fact that right after his first election, when the press was saying, hey, Mr. New President, why did you spend all New Year's Eve long hanging out with somebody who is literally a known mafioso and is a felon? And Trump's response was, you think I know the life story of every person I'm in a picture with? He's here to give me an award. I like awards. I barely know him. My question, with all the context that I just offered you is, well, if that's true, why can I, again, tie you in photographs together for about 40 years? Why all over Joe's Vimeo page, like with him filming in like 2002, is he filming your birthday parties at Mar-a-Lago? Why is he going across different countries to like Singapore, to Nice, to London, all kinds of places with your crown holders while they're reigning, wearing their Miss Universe or Miss Teen or Miss USA sashes, in spite of the fact that you're not with him on these trips? And why in public on camera are you calling them Miss American Hospitality Girls while you're handing out awards to, I don't know, people like Prince Albert of Monaco, especially handing him an award about a year and a half after a model named Karen Mulder went on French TV in front of a live audience and said that she was being trafficked by elite models and that Prince Albert of Monaco raped her. And then she was put in an asylum that Gerald Marie, also from Elite, paid for. How come Joe Cinque, Donald Trump's secret best friend, are you taking his crown holders to all these fucking countries and giving awards to people like that? And why does Trump pretend like he doesn't even fucking know you? And my point is like I'm working in the exact same kind of path with those, in my opinion, trafficked women. I'm trying to tie them to flight records, etc. It's like going to take me fucking months.
I've
Well,
got
so
something.
there's something that's.
If you
I'm sorry,
don't
go ahead.
mind, still rise. I
Yeah,
apologize.
no, it's all right.
I've got something that really is bothering me, and that is the supply of these girls, of these children, coming from adoption. That one adoption agency that was connected. I think it was in Michigan. I also think back to Trump's first administration when they were basically abducting children and then disappearing them into the system. What happened to those children? Were they trafficked? Didn't the ones that they could not track? How many adoption agencies were involved with this? How many?
There was just one that came out, Roxy. There was that woman that what is that one woman's name that was redacted, and they brought it out. She was in charge of an adoption agency.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's what I
talking
was
about,
talking about. That was
Tapley?
in Michigan,
Yeah,
or
you're talking about kids to what is it called? Kids to. Do you remember, Jel? We were just talking about
Is it
this.
Kids to
Wambit?
Kids
you.
to. No, that doesn't sound right. Jel, do you remember?
It was called Kids Too. I don't remember the woman's name.
Yeah, it was called
I don't
like Kids
remember.
to Care or Kids to You, whatever. Basically, she's the person behind the redaction saying like your littlest. What I don't remember the exact term, but it was like your littlest one was like
Was naughty.
wild or
Yeah,
yeah, naughty.
or like
Like she sent that
put up
to
a
Epstein.
fight. She put up a fight or something like that.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then she's behind the redaction in an email that someone sent to Epstein saying, you have my permission to kill him. And then outside of the files, you will see that she literally ran an adoption agency.
But see, that's the point that I wanted to get to because
and the
I think that
Romanian one too. I apologize. So I didn't mean to do that to you.
that's
Kim.
right. That's right.
I'm so
There's
sorry. I was just thinking about the Romanian adoption agencies with Charlie Kirk's wife.
and that's where not really Kirk's wife, but that area is where I wanted to focus on because I think that there is a pattern here that I've noticed, and some of the friends that I have noticed, and I know it's the focus of some of people who are members of Congress who have
Oh, sorry. By
access.
the way, just for the panel, her name is Susan Hamblin. Thank you to Dream Baby in the chat. Sorry, go ahead still.
That's right. There seems to be a line of difference between the acts that these girls were being asked to do and where the girls were sourced from. If you look at the files in terms of what was being alleged or alluded to, if you came from the US, if you were sourced here, it was things where if you got caught, the explanation or the punishment would be much like what he got in 2008, right? Like I know this is Canadian Life, but I don't want to get super gross here, but asking a 14-year-old over to touch you is not the same thing as graping, some sort of, 8-person monstrosity, on a, you understand what I'm saying? There's a big difference there in terms of what they're going to try to explain away, as did Epstein did in 2008. And so if you're going to try to find someone like that local, then you're going to, if the person goes public, you want somebody who has a bad family or, maybe a substance abuse where you have a little bit of leeway where like, I didn't know she wasn't 18, something along those lines. The girls who were being trafficked for the really, really bad stuff didn't come from the United States. They didn't come from Miami High School. They came here from Eastern Europe. And the reason why we have no survivors who have ever said any of those things happened to us is because they're no longer alive. They're the people you can take off a street corner in Chechnya, and they don't end up in a milk carton.
But they are literally in hiding. There's a couple girls that Epstein and his camp procured from Serbia, Yugoslavia, Russia, etc.
So for me, it's about
Danielle.
the people who would fly. Those people couldn't have flown virtually.
Sorry, I don't want to take the I don't want to just box it. So if somebody else wants to come up, I'm definitely happy to just
I just kind of wanted to see you go off on the
no, that's the
and
only
he's
reason
still
I
requesting
came
up. He's still
That's the
requesting
only
up.
reason I came up is to go off on the Hoff.
And listen, I will kill your box because I'd like to have Darren up. I see that
Yep,
he'd
you're
like to
good.
up, but you know that the Hoff's gonna, once we get off all this, the Hoff's gonna come back on and it's gonna turn into Olive Springer again. And I look forward to the mutual crash out.
You know where to find me. Just send me the live. I love you both.
Yeah,
And
Slayer,
then you
me and
I
got
you,
love
Big
you,
bro.
Puppy
Slayer.
and
Thanks for
Shell,
being
so y'all
here.
are gonna be great. Thank you.
Me and
Bye,
you got
Tap. Great
Hoff,
job.
buddy.
Thank you,
Tapley,
sir.
good job tonight. Olive is great job. I've got to go. I'm falling. I'm tired. But you, great presentation tonight. Gave me a lot of stuff to think about. A lot of more research to do. I want to find out more. But I appreciate you guys having me up here, and it's been
You
Thanks
mean
so
so
much for
much
Good
to
seeing
being
me,
you,
here.
Roxy.
Roxy. Like your energy always centers me, and I'm so grateful that you came and spent some time with us.
Oh, you did
I
a
adore
great
you.
job, Pat Tapley. I'm real proud of you. And don't, people. Some people, some of people think it's probably too detailed for them, but people that are all in this, really appreciate all the work that you're doing. I'm just saying.
I will not be deterred. I am satisfied, and thank you for saying that, Roxy. Okay,
Okay,
I
you
can
guys have
handle
a
it.
good night. We'll see you
Good night,
next time.
Roxy.
All
Good
right,
night.
have a wonderful night. And then Darren, I'm not seeing you in the queue. I want you up here, my friend. Request up.
So,
I,
so the
I
reason
just want to say,
I
too, for all the
I
big
kind of want
creators
to
that
talk to
are.
the Hoff, guys.
can
Oh
I
yeah,
Yeah,
just
I
land my
just want
I'm
to
can I
so
say
just land
real
my
quick,
plane
sorry.
real quick?
Tapley,
And I'm so sorry.
for
We
all the
got to
big
get Viper
creators.
Vicky up here really quick. She is the most legendary chat mod on TikTok. Thank you for working so hard for me, Viper. Please, everybody, take a minute to please gift the hell out of her before she goes to bed.
Let me just land my
You are
plane real
welcome,
quick.
Tapley. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
The it is highly unlikely that they're going to send those girls via commercial flight. They're going to fly them private. So the number of people who have pilot licenses who can fly the types of planes that get from the United States to Europe is going to be a small pool of people. We're not talking thousands. We're talking hundreds in that time frame. There are going to be employment records that Epp has on who he had on payroll. Those people are going to know something was up. We should be looking for the pilot's license, which is all FOIA. You can call FOIA the FAA to find out who was licensed to fly the tail numbers that Epstein had between those areas, or more importantly, who was coming over here using visas at the same time, and if they have any connection to the Tapley, to what you brought up, are there any principals that were part of these shell companies that are somehow also on a whole bunch of flights going back to Europe? And if so, what countries? And if so, did they bring back people in addition? Is it a plus two? Who's the plus two? That's how you're going to start to track this stuff down, because it's going to be in the paperwork. It's not what MAGA's looking for is like this high definition, close up shot of Trump walking a 9-year-old into a bedroom. That's not how investigations work. That's how NCIS works on TV. We didn't find the 9/11 hijackers through that process. They communicated through Hotmail. We found them through flight logs and transportation and school and tips. It's gumshoe shoe leather that's going to solve this thing, assuming there are people who only want to do it. And it's Tapley and people like him who are going to keep turning over rocks that eventually is going to turn over one that'll lead you someplace.
Tapley, I wanted to bring up a point. Is we know with how human trafficking works. One of my mutuals on here is Kim Kelly. Go check her out. But she works with anti-trafficking stuff. And we know that a lot of people who have anti-trafficking or other NGOs internationally, they often are doing it themselves. So it's just something to think about and look at. And I do think, I have my suspicions with people like Erica Kirk, obviously. But there's a lot more of that around, and they're going to decentralize it too. So they're going to have other people doing it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, Les Wexner
To
was
that I say, keep in mind or look for a DM for me. I'd like to talk to you privately offline. Okay,
Yeah.
based on what you just said.
I sent you a message. Obviously,
I'm following you right now.
TikTok.
I followed you too, Elle. Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got your back.
I really appreciate you, Elle. And then excuse the train if you hear that. And guys, please, in the chat, I don't give a fuck if you're mad at me, but don't take it out on Vicky. She works hard. Please gift her as you would on literally every other night. Thank you.
I just wanted to add, just to go off of
real quick,
oh,
I just
sorry.
got to say, mods or Danielle, Darren is trying to get up here, and I don't see him in the queue. Can somebody please like address that and try and get him up here, please?
I
He's
don't
been
see
trying to
him
get
either,
here.
Tapley. I don't see him.
Okay.
There he is.
Oh, there he goes. Awesome. Oh, all right. Sorry. Go ahead, Jill.
Okay, I just wanted to go off of that in terms of this specific, nexus and going off of like how the elite circles, or I guess a better way to put it would to be what Elle said, is that a lot of the people that are very closely or very publicly, I would say, in philanthropy and have started companies, nonprofits that are associated with adoption agencies or donations associated with anti-trafficking networks and campaigns are very closely related to it. Specifically, Les Wexner, he's been involved with foundations connected to anti-trafficking and adoption agencies. He has different art, he has art centers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I'm currently doing a huge deep dive on him because he just had his deposition, which was absolutely insane, and his connection with Maria Farmer, who lived at his house for 3 months and was the first person to report Epstein and Wexner to the FBI, and they didn't listen to her in 1996. As well as someone who would watch over her named Claire Hazel, who is in Jeffrey Epstein's book, who is also a co-conspirator and who was closely connected to them, kind of knew what was going on. She also got married to the Guinness dynasty. So it's a lot of like very old money ties that started foundations and have just like operated through different networks as things have evolved.
Have you?
Did you guys see that there was a settlement today out of the estate for Epstein? Gel Tapley?
I have not looked at the news at all today
Yes,
because
I did.
I didn't see that yet.
There was another settlement today.
I know. And guys, by the way, literally in terms of Darren Endike, please and Richard Kahn, the two executors to this day of of Epstein's estate, aka the harbingers of fucking evidence, I need the public to understand that in terms of building a RICO case tomorrow, analytically, the deal is done based on what is in the files and based on what I know about them. They are like crux to this entire operation, which is not just like multi rings of sex trafficking. This is a global syndicate that is tightly controlled. It is well funded and highly protective of itself. And those two people are the villains in this fucking story, almost more so than anybody else. And people should be very deeply concerned that not only are they the executors of the estate, but they kind of run like settlements for victims and are basically like the last point of access for these victims. And I don't know if you remember my last panel that I had a couple of weeks ago whenever I brought up our technologist who allegedly and for entertainment purposes, I don't know, I'm not saying that he did. I know that he's capable of it. Maybe he did hack Akamai. Maybe he hacked the DOJ. Regardless of what he might have done, he did explain to you guys that he was able to find that the DOJ was hiding over 300 files in data set 11. They're masked. They're not accessible to the public. Tatsu has them, aka I have them. No other major newsroom does. And if you were here to see Tatsu in action, you know that the man is no motherfucking joke. And you also understand that the machines that he builds are not AI in the traditional sense. It's all forensics based. It's only pattern, only raw data, makes only observable conclusions. And his machine's analysis of those 300 files, which I'm not actually ready to report on to you yet because there's a lot, okay, is he it basically backs up the idea of a syndicate, but he basically there are like 5 tiers here of implicated actors. Tier 1, Darren Endike, Richard Kahn. And he's looking at it and it's programmed in terms of which RICO cases could you build now. It's them. It's them. And I'm not willing to say more about that right now for a number of reasons, but you mark my fucking words. That's it.
Hey,
Hi, Darren.
Tapley. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
I requested up I requested up earlier tonight, and I was on the panel about 2 minutes, and then I got kicked off before I could say anything. Are you sitting? Are you sitting down?
I am.
I got a message tonight from Shannon Marketech.
Okay.
She wants to talk to you.
I hope she will. I've been trying to get in contact with her for months.
She messaged me tonight at 7:00.
Shannon Marketic?
How did it
Yep.
happen?
Darren, I
I
did not
sent
drop
her.
you.
Well, somebody kicked me, and
W.
anyway, it was a little.
It
I
was
wouldn't.
glitching,
No,
Darren, because it did it to me too.
yeah, it wasn't. And it also
It
said that I
dropped me
dropped
too.
Poppy and I didn't touch the screen. So it could have been a glitch, Darren, because I did not drop
Gotcha.
you. Yeah, definitely did
Gotcha.
not.
Okay. Anyway, Tapley, I just wanted you to start your process with that, but I didn't tell you. But I sent her a message probably 3 weeks to a month ago because
Okay.
she lives in Dallas, and I sent her a real well worded message. And I was trying to get her to come up to your last live, and
Okay.
she never checked her message. But tonight, she sent me a response, and I think you're going to be somewhat taken back by how it's worded. She's carrying a lot.
I know.
She's carrying a lot on her shoulders. So anyway, I've
I
got
know.
the message, and I'm going to send it to you, but I wanted everybody on the panel and everybody in the live to understand that this is eventually going to break through. You are going to get to who you need to get to.
Well, understand, Darren, I already have. Just because I don't come up here and blow my wad about
Yep.
unfinished loops doesn't mean that I'm not getting to exactly where I need to go.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
And listen, if people here are not impressed, I don't care. All right. The House committee sure seems to be impressed by a few things that I found. A triple other agency seemed to be interested enough in what I found to have spoken to me within 3 months of me starting this investigation. And
Right.
then on top of
Right.
that, like I said, which I proved on camera on a different panel yesterday, uh, if I have nothing, if I know nothing, if I'm just some lunatic wearing a tinfoil hat, I can't really imagine why I'm most trending again with my exceptionally rare name right now on Billionaires Row in St. Martin. Uh, you know, maybe a nothing burger. Perhaps I'm like fucking nuts. And I can swallow that. Anybody who thinks so, but I fucking know better. I know better.
Well,
And a lot of other people who you haven't met yet, who are a lot more credentialed than any of you, they have faith in me. And I don't even mean that as an insult, but like, come for me. Uh, David K. Johnston, uh, Pulitzer winner, thinks I'm on the right track. Victims think I'm on the right track.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to
Madam,
give
I'm
you
going
the.
to
I
get
wanted
you
to
right
give you
up,
the.
madam. Sorry, Darren. Madam, I will get you up. Go
That's
ahead,
okay.
Darren. Go ahead.
I just wanted to give you the good news. I'm going to forward the message to you in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
I really appreciate that, Darren.
Thanks,
And for the
Darren.
audience, everybody's asking, who is Shannon Marketic? Shannon Marketic is the person that I was talking about 30 minutes ago. She was Miss California 1992, competed in Miss Universe 1993, and then in 1996, along with Donald Trump's first winner, who would become his first winner months later, Brandy Sherwood, and a UK victim named Paula Bradbury and a few other ladies were tricked by a shell company pretending to be a modeling agency into being flown to the richest man in the world's compound, where his perverted brother, Prince Jeffrey, and their cruel, abusive wife, which I don't even have time to get into the things that she's done to her fucking staff. These women, Shannon Marketic being one of them, arrived there to have their passports revoked. They were STD tested and again forced into a harem of, as Shannon put it, quote, 30 of the most or a harem of 30 of the most beautiful women she had ever seen, some of them being underage. She alleges that The expectation once they got there, in spite of the fact that she sat down, by the way, and did a 2020 interview about this that was scrubbed from the internet. Don't worry, I have it. Point is, she goes into great detail about what happened there and what the expectations were. She said her dad called the agency because it sounded shady as fuck. And it was like triply confirmed that no sex required. Then tell me why. Passports revoked, STD tested, and then Shannon is alleging that after being forced into a harem, they're forced to sexually service rich and powerful men that visited the compound, the same way that Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton did together in 2002 with Ghislaine Maxwell. And all kinds of fucked up shit happened. Like literally, she claimed that she was forced to watch videos of prostitutes being murdered. The women would be lined up in a hallway with these rich visitors touching their genitals and saying, "You might be a Miss USA in California or in the United States, but here you're a fucking cunt. Your fake tits are disgusting." And literally, like, they got gassed in a discotheque and came to with their clothes disheveled, realizing that they had been motherfucking raped. Okay. And then our Department of Justice, when Shannon came back to the United States, begging for fucking help, and was brave enough to be the first person in our country to ever go after the then richest man in the world, our Department of Justice decided, you know what? Let's just slap them with diplomatic immunity, even though they're not technically entitled to it. Killed her case. The UK courts did the right thing. They tried to go to trial, Paula Brad, but Prince Jeffrey didn't want that. He paid her off. That's who Shannon Marketic is. She's a lost, forgotten victim, and so is her entire story. And I would love to talk to her. I don't even want to talk about what else I know and think about Shannon Marketic. But the point is, Darren, thank you so much, and I cannot wait to talk to her.
Yeah, that's why I got to ask, what are the crimes? And also, if this is all legitimate, leading to an investigation, then why aren't you gagged per 18 USC 1510?
What's the statute? Tell the audience.
18 USC 1510. You should be gagged if a 3-letter agency believes any of this. You shouldn't be able to speak to any of this. This is
I didn't give you any context about what the triple letter agency talked to me about.
No, all
Number
of this,
one, they were interested in one singular item that I happen to know that I spoke publicly about once. Next thing you know, little interview, few questions, all hinged on this one factoid that I just happened to know and I happened to speak upon. I didn't do anything illegal. I found it just as easily as any of the rest of you had, but it seemed to be concerning enough that they wanted to ask me about it, and I've never spoken about it again. The Huff. Does that answer your question?
Like, also to recognize Hoff, Tapley has said it multiple times just in this live alone, he's not a legal expert. If you want to talk to a legal expert about like whether or not shit that Tapley is doing is legal, why don't you talk to Kate?
Well, that's not the point. The 3-letter agency, if they found it credible, would tell him that he is gagged. He cannot speak to any of this.
How are they going to find it credible when they're not investigating?
Don't you have to have an active case?
We heard Cash Patel say that there is nobody being investigated. He said that the only people that these people were being trafficked to was Ghislaine and Epstein. We have Pam Bondi that isn't holding. They're actually scrubbing documents off the files, right?
What makes you think the material witnesses don't?
8,000 hours of overtime to redact Trump's name out of the files. What are you talking about, Hop? There's so much damning shit against this administration and the cover-up. What else do you want?
So again, what makes you think that a material witness can't talk?
He wants CSAM, right? Would you just want to see CSAM? Like, I don't understand you guys. I don't understand why you need to see it personally. Like, why can't you just listen to women?
This is gonna his question is that somehow a witness who is interviewed by the FBI would somehow not be able to not discuss it publicly. That's not true. Show me where witnesses don't talk all the time.
In an active investigation, if you have something so credible, then they usually gag you and tell you not to talk about it.
Anybody can be a whistleblower.
I don't know why you guys are giving this guy a platform.
Did he not get interviewed? Guys, you know that I'm no snowflake, and I'm sorry, the Hoff. And as a matter of fact, I really enjoy going on your panels, and you're nice to me. You don't kick me. You don't mute me. I'm not kicking you because I can't handle you. I actually can't, actually, energetically, just simply in terms of I'm not willing to debate with you right now. If you have questions, that's fine, but you're coming in fucking hot. I've got about 1,000 people asking me questions, like sincere, good faith ones that I would much prefer to address than getting into the minutia of your delusions. So why don't you save it, the Hoff? I'll come on your panel anytime. If again, like we can just kind of get past like the actual questions here instead of deflections, and the panel turns back into the debate. Fine. I'm not doing this right now.
He's
Oh
That's it.
streaming this. He's streaming this from his panel. That's what he's trying to do. So he's just trying
Okay,
to.
fine. Well, enjoy the show, the Hoff and the Hoff's
Tapley,
audience. All right. Can we move
listen.
on?
I'll make this as quick as I can. If you trust me, listen, because
Okay.
MAGA being in here is very dangerous, and it's not. Oops, sorry.
Yes. Why? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean by that. The backside of my account?
It's fine for me.
Hold on.
You're also permanently teacupped, so you might be glitching.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I
Yeah,
think
teacup
you're
you're
for some
glitched.
glitched,
reason.
and you had a lot of problems us pulling you up. You might want to refresh because it just looks like you're on mute and you're teacupped
Yeah,
from
so
where
Yeah,
I
it
can
drop,
see.
does.
Karen. I'll leave your box open. Just drop, completely exit out of the app, and then come back into the app. Yeah.
I want Madam to.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. So I promise
I
I'm
want
not.
Madam to say what
Okay.
she was going to say.
Thanks,
And
I'm
then
not
Darren.
I'll say
hijacking
something
the live,
Tapley.
but Tapley, if look, I
What?
respect the fuck out of you. I love what you've done, and I everything you said was valid, dude. But like the entire TikTok sphere has just fucking exploded after this live. You have good trouble trashing you. All the big creators on the left trashing you right now. I'm not doing this to hit at your ego. I'm telling you, they're gonna try to derail all the hard work you've put in that I respect because I know what you're sacrificing. I know what you put in. I'm trying to do damage control, and during this live, there was at least I counted at least 250
Okay.
bots with new farmed accounts that were spamming to derail it.
Okay.
And you have people on MAGA side trashing you, hosting lives right now. And again, this is not to attack you. I've been
Madam,
trying to control
listen,
it.
I get it. Madam, I'm going to stop you there and I'm going to cut to the quick and literally just give you three simple words. I don't mean this like, in any way like nastily towards you. And I do appreciate you advocating for me and coming up here and explaining that to me. But those three simple words would be, I don't care. And anybody who's listening, be you streaming from the Huff, be you down in the gulag, etc. If I did not meet a threshold of acceptability to you, I suppose I'll say, I guess, sorry that I wasted your time. I will absolutely not be deterred. I will absolutely continue to appear here on TikTok lives. If you don't want to let me up on your panels anymore, and you think that I'm all of a sudden like suddenly not an incredible debater, etc., fine. Like fucking rake me, talk shit about me, make fun of me. It doesn't make any difference to me. It changes nothing about what I'm going to do tomorrow when I wake up, like I do every single day, and commit 6 to fucking 12 hours to this, like I do every day. I'm not here to change your mind. I was here to offer you. I was here to offer you a loop based on observable patterns. It is really complicated shit that we're dealing with. We're talking like 40 years of criminality in this like one context, right? Like predation, trafficking, grooming, just whatever. I get it. I get it. I get the backlash and I can handle the backlash. If you want to come for me, come for me. I will address you without crashing out. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not going to bed tonight thinking that I'm a fucking loser. I'm going to go to bed tonight being like, I tried. A lot of people didn't get it, and the people who did get it, that's who I'm here to talk to. And there are a lot of other people. This is not this TikTok is not planet Earth at large. There are a lot of people outside of this app in my life who rely upon my information, and they take me seriously, and that's enough for me. Anybody like I have no expectation that like people should just all fall in line with what I said, that they should get it, and that they should, like me. It really doesn't matter. The simple point is, madam, I thank you. I can handle it. Let them talk. Let them
Hey,
talk.
Tapley.
Yes.
I just wanted to say I'm a child SA survivor as well as we've talked on other lives, and I don't know what these people's problems are, trying to silence you or trying to bring down the credit you deserve on the time and the effort you're putting into this. Where are all the survivors that need to be speaking out, but they can't because they're the fear, the guilt, the shame, whatever reason you're doing this despite all that and despite the attacks. And I'm just saying, I am one of there's 82,000 Boy Scout survivors, and seeing you speak out and not take care about their shit, it's inspiring because very few, and I hate to say the term because sometimes I say male survivors, but that's what, is rare, or there's just a lot of problems with male survivors coming forward. And what you're trying to do, again, you're not the lawyer, you're not the FBI, you don't have $1 billion budget to fight these people. You are a survivor trying to find the truth, trying to connect the dots, trying to find red flags, trying to help people, understand. I mean, like, these banks have settled hundreds of millions of dollars for not lightly. They fought this shit, and there's so many things to connect, and the more we talk about it, the better it is because it's more awareness, more, and these people, I don't care if they're big creators, if they're not survivors and they're not defending you, then they need to understand what's that motive. Who are they trying to silence? Because again, there's thousands of us. I'm going to tell you right now, there's 56,000 confirmed Boy Scouts already through the process, and we're not coming forward where we need to and unite. And there's, as we know, 1,000 plus in the e-files, and everybody that comes forward, they get beat up, and it's bullshit. And I don't want to keep going on, but I'm saying it's like a cancer that we're trying to find the cure for, and you're not going to always find like, oh, this is the big thing that's going to make it happen. You're going to have to keep bringing this stuff up and find the links between the attorneys and the banks and all the perpetrators, and eventually what they say in a civil case, not criminal, but in a civil thing, which are what we're looking at in some cases here, it's a preponderance of evidence. Eventually, it's like there is a more likelihood that this shit is fucked up and these are the people involved, and that is enough for court of law to act on it.
Tapley, I want to say something to you. I am more of a friend, and by the way, it's going everywhere. I am more of a friend to you than those fucking scumbags on some of those creators. I'm not naming them all. I've got recordings that I am a better friend to you than some of those fucking scumbags that are on your side of the aisle. They're fucking scumbags. I didn't come up to say anything else about your presentation, but listen, I didn't think I thought you did okay. I thought you could have used a computer, but that's a different topic. Those people are not your fucking friends. They're not your same people. We've got 25 minutes of different creators being dicks to you. Fuck them all. We're not buddies. We disagree on everything. Those fucking people are fucking scumbags. Scumbags. They fucking are not your friends.
Can I interject? Because I'm actually on GT's live, you guys. I'm actually watching GT's live also.
Yeah, well, I watched it fucking when he first got on, and we've got it all recorded, and I'll give it right to Tapley.
Well, let's see it. I mean, I don't think it's helpful to
Tapley,
spiral into that.
Hey, brother, listen,
anything,
drop me.
right
you can
now,
drop me. It's
Patriot,
okay. Tapley, you
what
can
you are
drop me.
doing by
I'm just
coming
telling you,
up
they're
here
not
and
your
talking
fucking
about
friend.
this is you're essentially doing more
They're not your friend, Tap. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Patriot, listen, thank you.
One.
Hold on, JD. Patriot.
Okay.
Thank you for being here. You're being very reasonable to me. Thank you for the information. But again, like left, right, doesn't matter. It's very clear to me that there are a lot of people who have opinions who want to critique me, and that is fair game. I came into this tonight knowing that that was a big possibility, and I still chose to do what I did tonight. And again, I'm not going to lose sleep over this. I'm a 39-year-old man. If somebody calls me a nothing burger or a loser or a tin hat or said that I fucking flopped, I don't give a shit. Again, like it does not matter to me that like the Hoff who cannot put on pants while he is on camera.
Him. I'm talking about the
Yeah,
left,
no,
not the
no,
right.
fine. It doesn't matter to me if like, I'm not saying that I heard he did, but just as an example of like good trouble thinks that I'm like a piece of shit, it's fine.
Oh
Like,
no, it wasn't that far. I was not happy. Listen, we've had our freaking problems, whatever it is, whatever it ever, right? But I was extremely disappointed in 3 different creators, and we've got recordings. We've got them, just so you know. And I'm going to send them to you because I'm not full of shit. I was disappointed that somebody that is in my sphere, as you like to say, right? That's your quote. It was not just they didn't directly make fun of, but in every single example, unless you were trying to misconstrue it, we're saying that it was a waste of their time and that they can't believe they wasted their time. And I'm
no,
like,
and listen, and
I
that's
felt
super
shitty
fair.
for
That
you.
is
That's
super
what I
fair.
feel.
If people
It's
came in
not
here
fair.
tonight like thinking that I had something that would immediately result in charges against the most famous person to have ever lived in the 21st century, I'm so sorry that I let you down. I really am. I don't know what to tell you. I was very clear in setting up sort of the expectations tonight. At least I thought that I was, and I missed the mark for some people. And again, I can swallow that, and that is a fair critique. People have the right to take in the information in the way that I laid it out. Maybe I wasn't concise enough, there are all kinds of critiques that are perfectly acceptable. And the last that I really want to say about it is I see it, I absorb it, and tomorrow I move on, undeterred.
So
That's
Good
now
for
it.
you.
there's
I'm going to
Now
drop it because
there's
I want
four
to say
things I
good
want
for
to
your
say.
work
I've
on the
been
Vic for the
waiting for
victims.
so
Nope.
fucking
Let me
long
finish. I'm
now, and
dropping.
everyone else gets to go.
Good for
Thanks
your
for
work
doing
Nice.
on the
this.
victims for the victims,
Can I
Tapley.
please?
But JD, I'm leaving. You can have the
Okay,
whole thing.
fine.
Tap.
Okay.
Good for your work on the victims. Some of these people are not freaking just because they vote the same way as you are not your fucking friends. Just want to make sure you know that.
That's
All
okay.
right. All right.
I have a
Take
tight
care.
circle of like
I know
real
you do.
friends. It's fine. This isn't
All right.
the real world. And
I think I
the people who
defended you
are
more
real
than
to me
fucking
are
they
the
did.
people I talk to outside of this app. It's okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Thank you, Patriot. I
No
appreciate
problem.
you. All right.
Later.
Have a good night.
Okay, so
Hey,
now there's essentially four things I want to say. Okay, but let's start out with the first three because they're mostly good. Taps, we had this is going to be number one. We had a private conversation, and I still believe this is true. Right now, what you are doing between you, Gel, and Olive being the presenter or the platform in which you guys can present this information, being able to have this informal type shit where you're able to provide the viewers with information as to the background shit that's happening, all the dark shit that's happening within our government. I believe that's absolutely necessary if we're to heal as a country. I have 5% left. I'm going to try to make this as fucking concise as possible before my phone dies. Two, if there was any constructive criticism that I were to give you at all, because I love you and I want to be honest and open with you, it'd be with regards to pre-presentation. It is absolutely important to let your viewers know who you are so that way they can it's no less the same with like a court case. You want to build a rap sheet, right? You want to be able to become emotionally presentable to the person you're trying to convey the information to. But there should be a cutoff with how long you go with that. You don't want to make that the centerfold of the case. Otherwise, everything else gets drowned out immediately. If that makes any sense to you, Tapley.
It does.
Third.
Super fair. Good note.
Third.
Totally.
Um,
I'm almost done with the Tapley criticisms, even if it's constructive on a public platform in front of 1,000 people.
I understand.
It's okay, Danielle. I'm
No,
okay.
Tapley,
I really am.
honestly, there's a time and there's a place.
I understand where you're coming from, Olive. I do. This is just me being like open to like Tapley. That's all. But I love him nonetheless. Again, like this was going to be part of the third point was you were able to build a concise case and close a loop on on what seems to be not the most damning, but pretty damning in my eyes with regards to Trump's relation to JE. So, as a question, I would ask you guys if you're able to do any further investigation. If not, have you already done more investigation into how this specific LLC is allocating and funding?
We're still working on it, like I said. Oh wait, you mean? I assume you mean. Wait, do you mean E Management New York LLC, or do you mean Trump for President LLC?
You can use either one.
Well, so the answer in terms of E Management, absolutely, absolutely, and that's going to be a long trail. That is something that I expect to take weeks, if not well over a month, to get to the finish line on. And as a matter, I was more interested in closing the loop in terms of like Trump for President LLC, basically like lead you all the way to Penrose, right? Now, as far as Trump for President LLC, we tried very, very, very hard to find the genesis of it, right? Like original filing, very, very difficult. Nothing. To the extent that's literally why I had to show you guys the Time magazine article, the Newsweek article, as well as the Washington Post article, that all attributed both of those terms that I landed on, Trumpocrat and Trump Publican, in conjunction with David Marmon to Trump for President LLC. Those are reputable institutions who have to heavily vet everything that they report. And unfortunately, but fortunately, I mean, it's better than nothing, but unfortunately, that was the only sort of like, not that it applied, like that it was Genesis, but like at least like you have reputable, heavily vetting institutions like making it very clear that Trump for President LLC is officially like tied to the Trump camp, right? Does that make sense?
That
Maybe.
makes complete sense within my mind.
Okay.
Like again, that's
Okay.
going to be if you really want to close this loop out, that's going to be the most like the big piece of evidence that counts, right? Is you want to
Yeah.
be able to show to the viewer, hey, this is where the majority of this money is going, and this is how I'm able to make this connection, right? That's what I would think.
Right.
And then the
And
fourth,
listen, and I want to make it clear though, I'm not alleging that I've seen anything that act like in terms of money trail, right? Like in conjunction with Trump for President LLC. Like I didn't find some like campaign contribution that was made to like, there wasn't like a transfer of money that I was able to observe between Trump for President LLC and Penrose. But that still doesn't kill the link, and it's actually kind of the point, specifically given the state that it was filed in, which I tried to explain to you specifically why New Mexico is a haven for people who want to be very anonymous and detached from their LLC, and basically to have a blurry paper trail. That is literally the entire point. That's why it is like the sweet spot for people who build shell companies. And like what I was trying to get people to understand is, to me, this is very clearly a sex work agency, be it OnlyFans, be it actual like escorting, right? Like that is like tied like to Trump for President LLC. Like whether like I've observed financial transfers or not, which I absolutely haven't and have never pretended that I have, it is connected to it. Do you know? Like I feel like I'm really
yeah, no,
meandering
I'm
here.
trying.
It's hard to like frame. I'm so sorry, and also I'm
No, no,
fucking
no. Don't
brain
think you're
dead.
doing a poor job at
But
this, Tapley. You're doing a great job at this right now. I'm able to track all of this completely. Okay, so don't like blame yourself for any information that you think you are spewing like in a bad way.
Yeah, and it's like
well, it's good.
it's like we want to talk about like I don't know shell companies. It just this isn't like this is how these things have operated, right? Like there's ties to different attorneys that are protecting the money. Like if you really want to understand how like trafficking rings have evolved, you really don't start with like the most sensational story. You actually have to follow the boring stuff. And that's why it probably seems like a big nothing burger to a lot of people because there's literal like financial filings and like shell companies and like ownership transfers and assets and a timeline of 30 years. And you know, nobody pays attention to this stuff. Things are supposed to look boring. Like shell companies are supposed to look like nothing online and in like business assets and on paper. And that's kind of the point.
That's
Well,
actually
right. So
hey,
let's
Al-
talk about it's just more about the ecosystems that have evolved too, and like wait, hold on. Okay.
Wait, let's let Jell quickly finish. Darren, I think he has something to say, and then we're going to
No,
finish
that's okay
JD's
because
point.
I wanted to actually bring up. I wanted to bring up something specific.
Actually,
in regard,
hold on. It's out of control. Darren seems urgent. Go ahead, Darren, and we'll go right back to Jill.
Olive, is Parker is he trying to request up?
No, it's a fake account. They're just bringing a whole bunch of fake accounts in here trying to derail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if he wanted up. I mean, if he wanted up, you can drop me to bring him up if you want to.
It's a fake account.
Followers.
It's a fake
Gotcha.
account.
Okay. Yeah, Tapley, I just saw all zeros on your back page, and with what went on with Roxy, it just kind of spooked me.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Okay.
Everything's okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Darren.
good.
All right.
Good.
JD, do you want to go quickly or end, and then I can? Because
Yeah,
I want to.
I have 2% on my phone right now. I don't know how my phone's still fucking alive. It feels like it's on a respirator. But that what you just said perfectly goes into my fourth point. Okay, so Tapley and Olive are not here for the drama. They're not here to hear that this is a nothing burger. What they're here for is to provide you, the viewer, the audience, with what they believe to be information that is, I guess, I don't even know how to coin this. They would want to provide you with information which they believe is necessary in order to heal the nation. I'm just going to re-say the same thing I said earlier. That's what they're trying to do here, okay? Don't come up here and talk about other fucking creators who are trashing them. Rather focus on continuing to support them. Rather continue to ask these questions so that way they can provide you the answers. They can do the research and provide you those answers. Don't just don't be fucking kids, okay? Please, thank you. Can we not be fucking teenagers? Thank you. Love you.
Well, yeah, and thank you. I think what people don't realize is like when you're kind of you're. Sorry.
I love you, JD. Thank you for being here, buddy.
I just think that like criticism is fine. Like I understand, and I understand that like the presentation of certain things are not going to be absorbable by a lot of different people, and it does require like a specific type of mindset, I suppose. But like I said, it's not really supposed to be like this a spectacle or like a big headline. It really is kind of boring, and like that's kind of how it's not like this proves X crime. That it's opaque. And like specifically, I just wanted to give like one example, and like, and what me and Tapley have done is obviously not completely based our research off of Trump specifically. Like, if anything, we go off on like 3 different rabbit holes a day, and like we looked at each other's computers. We each have like 200 tabs up in like every single computer browser known to man. I have about like 20 pages of different topics and different rabbit holes that I'm consistently adding notes to throughout the day, while I have like an interview or podcast on in the background that I'm writing notes from, while I'm reading documents from the 90s, while I'm going through the files, while I'm trying to find old newspaper archives, etc., and doing like white pages background checks on people to like corroborate addresses and locations and financial documents and deeds to certain properties, etc. With all that being said, specifically, like there's a very interesting case that I have discovered that is basically like in 2008, a guy with like a really weird history of financial scams, he bought a $10 million Beverly Mansions house right across from the Beverly Hills Hotel. And then like 6 weeks later, he transfers the deed to a shell company created by Trump and like literally has his signature on it. He gives this home to Trump for $0. Trump never lives there, and then like has it briefly and then sells it later for millions of dollars as well, but like less than what he received it for. And so like this type of rabbit hole.
Exactly the same way that he did with the 2004 property that he outbid Jeffrey Epstein on behind his back. and then
That was
sold it
actually,
to
he sold that
flipped
for
it and
way
sold it to
more.
a Russian oligarch. Yeah,
Yeah,
Raul Balaj.
exactly. But it was a different
What a
type of
pattern.
situation. Yeah, exactly. Like, and this was, and keep in mind, this was all right before the crash. This was all before the market crash. Like, it was almost like they all knew something was going to happen because they were all buying up properties that were worth tens of millions of dollars and then selling them to each other or giving them away to each other within a 2-year span. So it's not just about Trump. Like, it's literally like, this is how the elites, this is how the people that have been consolidated into power have almost like strategically invoked the crisis that is like our economy, and like done it on purpose so they could get away with particular advances that like the general public and like the majority of citizens or people around the world are not even privy to or have access to. So, and it's all by design. So that's kind of, and you know, it comes at the expense of a lot of abuse, and you know, child trafficking and sexual abuse just happen to be a huge part of it, honestly. So,
and I wanted to say it's a shame that the government's not doing this work. They've been sitting on this shit for decades, and you're having to start from just an avalanche of this stuff and digging through it. And I appreciate all the time because a lot of people just can't even stomach it. But I wanted to say it's not exactly the same, but there was a shell company in Delaware made for the BSA just in the minimum amount of time for them to have a qualification to file bankruptcy in that state. So there's definitely long-term strategies in many ways for these people to hide their abuse. And I did want to say one thing that you might not be connecting the dots on, and you did mention quite a bit tonight, and I really hope that there's some, I just don't have the time to go into this with all the Boy Scout stuff that I'm dealing with, but the NDAs, it's very, very important that you've mentioned all these survivors that have had to have NDAs. And one of the things that were instrumental in helping us was these laws that have been changing. The statute of limitations helped E.G. Carroll come forward in New York, and as well as many, many other survivors. And I just want to say, last year in Texas, we eliminated NDAs. It's called Trey's Law, and we eliminated that unanimously. And it's happening right now through many states this year, making their progress. But next month, the 1st of March, we're looking to be at the United States Capitol. And I'm in Texas, and love or hate this guy, and I'm not a fan, but Ted Cruz is one of the leaders on the Republican side. And excuse me, I'm going to get the name of the other the senators is Gillibrand that are authoring it, and then Britt, Schmidt, and Welch have signed on. So if we eliminate NDAs on a federal level, then all these survivors that cannot come forward because of fear of legal retaliation and such, that's going to open up a lot of shit that people are not going to want to hear about if they are the perpetrators.
Hey, Curtis, that's amazing. Thank you much for sharing that. I do want to just pipe in real quick.
Thank you, Curtis.
That an NDA signed as a cult survivor and whistleblower, I've been sued for $1 million. I've been stalked, harassed. My friend had her house shot at. Like, I've seen it. But as a survivor of coercion, if you sign an NDA in a situation like that, it's invalid. But I think we absolutely need to get rid of it because it's BS.
Thank you. I just want to say that's a common response, but there's so many reasons why survivors do not speak out. And it's named Trey's Law because Trey was at Camp Kanakuk, and Camp Kanakuk is a cesspool of shit. And we're on Canadian server. Anyway, unfortunately, he unalived, and it was because he felt they controlled him with the NDA. And that's very, very common.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's any direction, putting coercion laws, and that's something that I'm really passionate about. I am working with another survivor to help update coercive control laws in the U.S., and it's something that we've also seen kind of update within the DV spectrum, but coercive control and cults and cult-like behavior is really not defined in any state. So I don't know if you want to connect with me. I'd love to chat.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say, because this is something that there's a big movement to remove the NDAs, and in Missouri of all states, the NDA that's getting eliminated, it made it through the House. It's got to go through the Senate, And it's also eliminating statute of limitations, and it's linked with Cindy Clemenshire, which people may not know, with Gateway Church, Robert Morris, which used to be linked with the orange guy. He got a 10-year sentence and serving 6 months. So these fuckers are all interconnected, and they're all, making sure everybody barely gets held accountable.
I mean, that's awesome, and that's something where my friend and I are looking at as well, is getting some of the laws changed on, as far as going after somebody who hurts you or whatever. The statute of limitations on things like even human trafficking or coercive control or emotional harm, like we're looking at trying to change that within the laws to open up more justice, because I think a lot of that stuff shouldn't really exist.
Absolutely.
Because, like, I got out of the cult, I got sued, I got I was in between a legal situation that they caused, which is, my story's complicated. You can look at my profile, but
Sure.
like, I went through all of that, and then not only that, but like you get put into a financial situation where you're unable to bring about even a criminal or civil case. Nobody listens to you in FBI or anything like that, and a lot of people are like, oh, why didn't they go to the FBI? Or like, it causes trauma to talk about. So I also want to commend your bravery for bringing that up. But like, there is a lot of different barriers that survivors deal with, and I will say, like, a lot of the stuff I've been through is a baked potato compared to what people who have been in the files. But just, I have that awareness that, like, it takes a lot more to necessarily speak out, just because of just the fuckery that happens to your nervous system, and
Oh yeah.
NDAs and all that stuff. Because I actually, when I left, then they implemented a bunch of NDAs on everybody. So it adds a level of coercion for somebody who is, a perp, basically. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. It's just the fact that it's money over, it's profit and power over people, unfortunately. And I was fighting the Catholic Church. I'm not Catholic, but I was abused in Louisiana, Arkansas, and Texas, and Scouts, as well as my family abuse. But the thing is, the Catholic Church made my statute of limitations be 1 year. I had until I was 19 to come forward, and I've been fighting them until last year, 2024, when we finally eliminated their concern of it being unconstitutional. So I'm just saying, attorneys won't help you if they can't make a claim with NDAs or SOLs, because they're fearing they're going to fight something and just not even be able to submit the claim. So,
Yeah.
as you know,
Curtis,
I'm just saying, it's complicated. Sorry, Tapley.
No, don't be sorry.
Oh,
I just want to quickly say to you, number one, I mean, you've already brought it up again tonight, but I remember it very cleanly from the last panel we did together. I want you to know that I have been looking into the gateway link that you mentioned, as well as I took particular interest in the boat with
excellent.
Jesus Christ, why am I blanking? The sea.
Yep,
They're not
SEA.
sea boys. What are
Sea Scouts.
Yes, there we go. Sea Scouts. That's what I was looking for. I was like, not Sea Boys. Yeah, I got really, really interested in that,
Great.
and it's linked to Mark Epstein, and that's something that I have already started looking at. So, it'll probably take quite some time, to find something reportable to you. But you've my word that I'm looking at it, and once I follow the trail and I either hit a wall or find something cool, I'll let you know.
Well, that's excellent, and I'm hoping that somebody will come forward. But the international water thing is it's a huge problem. They take them out, Just no problem. Thanks.
And I've been like me and Tapley kind of work on different networks too. So like, if there's a rabbit hole that one of us discovers, like a couple months ago, I was actually focusing on yachts specifically and actual property links, because that's kind of how you can tie, and also art purchases, because the philanthropy and the way that the economy has like consolidated through the 1%, they lend each other these things, right? They lend each other their private yachts, their private planes, and they kind of have loopholes that they can go through. And especially when it comes to property transfers or sales, everything is really, that's a money trail that they really can't They can't hide. I mean, I think maybe as time has gone on, they've been able to hide these. They've been able to find more and more loopholes. Actually, they control the money, they control everything. But there's specific timelines when like trafficking and these organizations were really heightened with abuse, and they were able to just kind of operate within one another. And the Venn diagrams that like consist of the overlapping of abuse in certain networks across the country and globally are just like so apparent with between like SNUFF films, all of the rings that, I mean, there's even like, I think I maybe asked you about it if you had looked into the Eye of the Chicken Hawk book. He is a writer, Simon Dovey, and he basically connected like all of the elite pedo rings connected in the 70s and 80s with young boys together. Literally have created like an entire book on it that connects all of them together. So
thanks for that.
Yeah. The Lost Boys generation is insane, and I've kind of tangentially been learning a lot about that lately. I mean, not really in the context of Epstein, but just it's really been lost to time. Oh, what a thing, predation specifically against young boys. What it was like, especially between the 50s and the 80s, and the like mail catalogs. It's really, 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 really dark.
But remember, it kind of almost does have connections
Jill,
to Epstein, like even from a couple degrees away from separation. Absolutely. Like there's a lot of accusations against Leslie Wexner, specifically from Boys and Men. There's a lot of accusations.
That is true.
Against, people like Roy Cohn and that whole thing that was going on with the CIA, all of that shit. So
are you guys familiar
and
with
Jill, just really quick, because you brought up yachts just for funsies. You know what my favorite transfer of a yacht ever is?
Sultan of Brunei's yacht?
Yeah. That went to Donald J. Trump in the late 80s. And before that, Elder Khashoggi.
And the same yacht that actually has the world famous record breaking art sale of a Leonardo da Vinci that was purportedly lost to time and then was somehow discovered and was transferred from the same Russian oligarch that Trump sold his record breaking real estate deal to in 2008. Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, you bring up rare art. You mean like literally the most popular way to do things like, I don't know, launder money? It's rare art, particularly stolen art, sometimes forged art, and then horses, surprisingly, which is something I've learned along this path. But regardless, I'm
like
sure none of it's related.
Like related to maybe the horses that actually never existed in the millions of dollars Epstein spent to create a barn that never actually held any animals at. Yeah, that's true.
And I almost forgot about that one, but it's a lot to remember these things.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's exactly related, but that explains sometimes people paying $1 million for a banana stuck to the wall, right? It's just a cover. But I did want to mention, besides, like people are worried about flight logs and stuff, but the yachts are definitely a way around it. But the military helicopters, I can't remember if that was something that y'all have touched or not, but moving between the islands or getting to certain places that aren't airplanes is definitely
what's interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Is in my research today when I was looking over the files and things that were related to the actual documents that they had on e-management agency, I found a list of evidence that they held for investigation in particular cabinets. And I found two different lists that were dated at two different times. And coincidentally, some of the files that were missing in the later list were specifically files on Epstein's helicopters. Just missing.
And guys, I'm really sorry. I got a text from 10 minutes ago of Olive politely saying that she needs to wind down, but also she's not feeling very well. So we do have to wind down, unfortunately.
Great.
I think Al wanted to chime in though really quick. Sorry.
True.
Yeah, I was actually trying to say thank you. I'm going to pop out myself because I have to watch a documentary tonight for some work tomorrow. But yeah, lovely to chat with you guys and appreciate the work you do.
Hey, Elle, it was truly my honor to have you on this panel tonight. You made me look good, if anything did, all right? So thank you for being here, and I hope to continue to interact with you again and again.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Have a good night.
All right, Danielle, how are you doing? You're
Oh, you're
muted,
muted,
Danielle.
honey.
Oh yeah, I'm just not feeling that great. I know I've been fighting something. I haven't had dinner.
Oh no.
So yeah, I'm just gonna,
That's not like you. You gotta eat.
well, I wasn't gonna like eat on camera while that was going on. My phone, my live is freezing too. That's why I was off camera. Keeps glitching. It just does this when my phone gets hot, and it's been like the live's been going for a long time.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, people have been saying that they have to put like an ice pack on their phone if they're
Yeah,
live
it's
for
just
too
like
long.
after like a number amount of hours, it just starts doing this. So yeah.
Hey, so this came up really quick. Like, I just lost all respect for Nabra. He's a bitch ass motherfucker. I'm gonna say it on this live.
Listen,
The
hey, Poppy, I love you. I don't want to shit talk someone who isn't here. Like, I want to
why they
discuss this
can shit?
offline.
Yeah. No,
Well,
it's not even
listen,
just. It's not about you, Tapley. So much is the way that he's talking about the left in general, and the way that this motherfucker puts a fake smile on day after day with Laura on the panel and acts like he's cordial, but really you want to be a POS on the side. I've had enough with these people. I've lost faith in our country. The humanity is gone. I don't agree with either side of the aisle. Like the way I watched tonight with the literal purity testing in the comments, eating the own on the left, and the right talking shit, acting like they know it all. Like Hoff pissed me off. Your own kid has an SA case. Why are you worried about any kind of files or anything? You should be worried about your family that's dealing with these same allegations. And like, Tapley, you're my friend and all. I'm gonna stick up for you no matter what. But what I saw tonight was just vile and disgusting. When somebody went out of their way to put themselves out there to do something for everybody, that's what the cause of this country should be, is solving this pandemic that we have of pedophilia. But instead, you want to sit here and critique somebody how they do something. It's not right. Our country is fucked. We don't have like I don't
Poppy,
like it.
Poppy, thank you so much for your advocacy, your defense of me. I love you so much. You're kind of like my dad here on TikTok now, and I'm really thankful. I mean, we used to just go at each other, and I'm so proud of you. And like I said, I can handle heat. I can certainly handle Nabra. I'm certain, like he'll soon be in a position to say it to my face, and I think you could predict how that might go. Now, anyway, thank you, Poppy. Again, Danielle's not feeling well. We've got it in the live. I love you, and I appreciate you being here.
Yep.
Okay.
I
Yep.
appreciate you,
Sorry,
And
Tapley.
also,
Danielle.
All right.
Tapley,
I had to get that off my.
I'm gonna have a couple of like eggs or something, and then I'm gonna go throughout these streets, and I'm gonna say a word because I just listened to a little bit of that. I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna have a few words to say to some people, and this isn't about this isn't about. So I think there's a bit of context lost because we know the people that are within Tapley's like panels, right? We know so much
Yep.
more than a lot of people do. So for us, there was like a lot more like context to what Tapley presented tonight. And what I think people missed it on. Okay, so if you are given one thing, right, and you have to, you're trying to figure out where does this one thing gonna lead me, right? And your mind starts going in these directions, and you're like, oh my god, it connected to this. And oh my God, it then connected over here. And oh my God, this Pemrose. Oh my God, that was on the letter that George got from Donald Trump. Like to live that, right? To live that and make those connections in real time. And every time you turn somewhere, it actually connects another dot. I don't think that people can understand. Like when you present it, I think it's different than finding it because finding it, I think, has more weight than someone just telling you what it is, right? When you're actually searching and you find another thing that connects and you're like, oh my fucking God. And then I got this letter from George and this fucking Penrose is on it. And now I'm going over here and this is matching. Like, that's the nuance and the context that people are not kind of understanding. And at the end of the day, if you're critical of anything that happened here tonight, if you're critical because you sat up here for 30 fucking minutes, like, you're not the fucking president, you're not the fucking queen, you're a regular citizen who's fighting for your country, okay? And sitting up on somebody else's panel for 30 minutes or 40 minutes to hear what someone did, how someone connected dots, is not something that anybody should ever have a negative thing to say or should complain about or anything like that. Like, it is a better than you attitude, and it's fucking embarrassing. It's fucking cringe. And just listening to Milk's panel right now, I didn't hear Milk say anything. I'm like feeling very fiery inside, and I'm about to go around the streets and tell people what I just said.
Let's go.
No, because I think people, no, because people need to understand that this is beyond them.
Yes.
And their little gossipy 10-minute, like their little like circles about being like haters or just trying so bad to find something negative. Who does that? Who's like, how can I take this and find the most negative thing in it? Like, are you fucked? You have someone here who is dedicating this point in his life to trying to find something. Gel's doing the same. And all you fucking losers can do is find something negative because it took half an hour of your fucking measly life. Fuck you. You're fucking losers. You're two-faced and you're not fucking friends. And if you didn't get anything up from it because you can't rub your two fucking brain cells together, that's your fucking problem. Like, I'm sorry, but Mama Bear is coming out and I'm done. I'm done with the two-faced fucking bullshit. Honestly.
Exactly. I'll see you in these streets, Danielle. I'm
Yeah.
going to lay in the motherfuckers. I'm sorry, Tapley. I gotta get your back, and I'm gonna speak up for you.
But
If I
Tapley,
hear
I am
people
gonna
putting,
tell you,
Thank you, Poppy.
you fucking killed it. The amount of work you put into that presentation, I fucking love you so much. And I'm not saying this to make you like feel better or because I'm your friend. You did an awesome job tonight, and you've got a ton of people who got it, who understood what you were saying, and love you and appreciate you and want you to keep going. And at the end of the day, you fucking losers, Shannon Marquette wants to speak to fucking Tapley. So fuck you. He had the last word. Go fucking back to your loserville life in fucking Peasantville, you fucking dollar store peons. That's all I have to say.
Oh my God. I only wish that this panel hadn't been centered on me so like that we could just fucking end on that note. But obviously I cannot end without my offering my deepest gratitude for, disappointed or not, for the people who at least had the curiosity to show up and hear us out. If you felt like we missed the mark again, sorry, not sorry, in the event that like I'm not responsible for, your receptiveness to my information. And I can totally already swallow. I have critiques for myself as far as certain parts of my presentation, concision. If I had better technical equipment, and it would have made more sense to do it on TikTok Studio. Like, I have self critiques about this. I am not embarrassed. I will triple down on the line of research that Jill and I just executed. And it continues to develop. Within like literally the last 30 minutes of the show was me trying to shoehorn in cooperative materials from Becca Day, who is the undisputed expert of this entire case on this very app. Becca Day takes me seriously enough to trade information with me, and I believe she actually sat in the chat for a while tonight. And shout out to Becca Day. Even if I disappointed you, by the way, I don't know. We haven't spoken yet. Point is, I'm glad that I've at least up till now, and if you know, and ongoing, managed to get your attention, your very serious attention. And the people I was doing this for tonight are, in fact, the people who do support me and are giving me W's in the chat and who whatever gave me gifts that I'm not asking for. I do this for free. I literally gave up my job to do this on a moral level, by the way, a very high paying job, because truly I could not go to bed living with myself while doing this work and fighting for progressive politics on this app every fucking day, and very skillfully, I might add. I think we could at least agree upon that. Just listen, I'm not going to ramble on. I'm going to bed tonight proud of myself and vulnerable enough to swallow my self critiques and everybody who had anything negative, dark, or whatever to say about me tonight. I'll still have the guts to face you anytime on any panel and talk to you about this panel or literally anything else. I look forward to it. I'm not going to stop my work. I don't feel deterred. And I am absolved because the reality is Danielle's not wrong. What the fuck are you doing? Enjoy your Google searches. Enjoy your temporary reactions to data dumps. Enjoy collecting factoids from like talking heads on TikTok or threads or whatever the fuck who are reading national news and then regurgitating it back to you. Go ahead. Stay in the present. I hope you're enjoying yourself here. Jell and I are spending a lot of time in many parts of the forgotten fucking past. And we are trying to figure out how to put all of these pieces together to try and fully frame what is literally the biggest fucking conspiracy of all time. It is sprawling. It will take me fucking years to fully understand this case. And as we speak, regardless of what you think of me, a lot of people who frame every component of your fucking life are the very people who are dark enough to do endless amounts of harm to generations of women, children, and it's all funded off of your sweating backs, extracted from your fucking labor. You pay the subsidy for their corporate lush lives. You, with your tax dollars, do they litigate their own predations and win and get away with it? You are perpetrator and victim at the same time. So, and get
to get a
ready,
hold of me,
guys. It's only going to
Tapley.
get a lot fucking weirder from here. I hope you understand. Buckle up. I think regardless of what side of the aisle that you're on, it's not working out so well. And if you think you've seen anything, you haven't seen fucking shit yet. Thank
Tapley,
you
my
to
DM,
everybody. Hold
Tapley.
on. Thank you to everybody who supported me. I deeply appreciate this. And this live or not, this work has changed my life. And I'll see you on TV. Go ahead, Poppy or Danielle. Yes.
Yeah, you know my DMs are always open if you need to talk. And Danielle, I just want to say one thing before I leave. Thank you for giving us Americans that are grateful a platform to speak how we feel and give us the free speech that we don't have in America. I am ever grateful to have you and have your platform every single night. And you see, I'm in here every single night. I thank you. Unlike some of these ungrateful sons of bitches we have in this country that don't realize how much is being taken away from us. And I will see you on these TikTok streets. I'm gone. I'm going to do these. All right.
I'll
Bye,
talk to
guys.
you in a bit.
Thank you,
I
Poppy.
got some business to take care of.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Love y'all.
Big Poppy and I ride at dawn, so we're
Yep.
off to do that right now. Big
All
Poppy,
right.
let's go to Milk's
I'll be
first.
watching. And don't you
Okay.
dare drag me into it. I just want to crawl in bed
No,
with
no,
my
no, we
boyfriend and
won't
listen
drag
to
you
this
into
shit
it.
show with my headphones on.
Love you.
Love you. Thank you, Danielle.
Of
Bye.
course.
And thank you, audience. Thank you, everybody.